Festy.
And howdy, folks. Welcome to Adventures in Alberon, Courts of Everest, our original 5th edition D&D campaign. I am Joe Treff, your DM this evening, and joining me are all of my friends, Matt, Vincent, Tina, Kara, Hannah, and Alana. Full table. Yeah, we're all here. It's great. And we're all wearing sweaters, because it's sweater weather, and thank you so much for the sweaters, Emily. We have a couple of announcements before we do get started. First of all, we played Mosaic Team 5 last night, which is our original Starfinder campaign. It was completely non-drama filled and a lot of good cohesive team moments.
No discussions about backup characters.
No. And so
are all good.
Definitely worth watching at noon when it re-airs on YouTube at Alberon RPG, followed by this at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also have animations that are coming. Those are made possible by the support by using things like channel points and bits. So thank you so much for that. But we're going to be having some original animations done for us for all of the different characters to work as kind of an introduction coming in. So that is, I think the first ones are slated are coming in October, and then the second ones at the end of November, which will be these ones. So that's coming up soon. We have Alberon RPG for Instagram, for other social media, and then finally for music, like what is called this is Glub's music soundtrack for the little grung hero, but for any kind of music that you want, you can use Sirenscape for things like lightning spells. Oh wait, lightning spells are always so long to start, and I use that one too much. There it is. There's lightning for you. A Wilhelm scream, things like that. Sirenscape, digital tool set that you could use for your games and stuff. And with that, I can get us into our recap.
Glove thumping.
Wandering Hearts, last we played, you step through a phase circle and into the beautiful hillsides that cascade down to a valley and towering forest beyond. Up the hills of this sort of hillside. What was I writing?
I wasn't going to say anything.
Up the sides of this hill, grapes and olives grew. This is the Arboreal Vineyard. Boy, it's been a week. A cluster of whitewashed stone buildings that culminated at different heights and red-tiled roofs. Entering, you met its proprietor, an olive treant named Ulvardark, who had roots that dragged through inches of wine in a massive space that housed aging vats of various vintages and varietals. You went through a hall and into I did this to myself. The Loquacium, thank you. A beautiful dining room surrounded by a dozen carved stone pillars in the image of dryads whose arms come together to form a stone branch and leaf canopy above. You ate food, and Hearsome caught you up on some of the news of the realm, and then reported finding 3 potential items to aid you on your quest, much to the chagrin of some of you who believed that you would be getting items just free of charge.
Implied it. Sorry.
The sword, known as Sinterson, the bow, known as the Song of Dark Morning, and the Cold-Hearted King's prayer beads. For the last, Hearsome admitted that he had a personal interest, as going after the beads would involve restoring an old ally's home. He then introduced this ally, the Prince in Exile, Bersari Coalmonger, a fire genasi who told you of the volcano his people had carved their home into, prior to the fire giants displacing him. With a bit of pressure from the company present, you elected to assist, and in the process were promised the prayer beads of the Char-Hearted King once you have removed the fire giants by whatever means you deem necessary or fit. Now, as you all enter the halls of the Arboreal Vineyard, leaving the guest suites, that is where we begin. And all of you have taken a long rest, and so you can mark that off.
Yay!
Just
Some of us went to sleep with dreams of raccoon racing.
Oh, right. I don't know how I forgot about the raccoon race.
Yeah, you were really excited about it.
It was fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Times. Good old Bugbear. Bugbear came in second. That was good.
Yeah. He's feeling okay.
Only kind of disappointed him.
Yeah.
That's good for Rory, though.
It was like a, lower expectations.
Exceeding expectations.
So that then expectations quadruply succeeded.
I think that's called abuse.
Oh no!
Here's
Only if
some
it's intentional.
Here's some leads you all out into the hallway, and you are entering into the sort of morning work of what is happening around the vineyard. So there are dryads who are currently beginning to pull things into vats and move bits of wood around. You can see fresh barrels being pulled in, and you can see, like, still slumbering right in the middle of this space, that olive tree who just snores and the wine bubbles around his base as he does, and then just exhales into the wine. You can see here some just kind of smiles at him as he walks past, but pushes his way out and through the front doors where it is the kind of sprawling hillside below. Is there anything that any of you want to do before heading off to your next destination?
Yes. I would like to. Sorry, I've been waiting all week to say this.
Okay.
I'd like to pull out the gold, like the food plate.
Sure.
And remind me, can it be used just once a day?
Correct.
Or okay. Lee's gonna be like, fuck it, and she's going to imagine like a lot of chocolate.
Breakfast.
Just lots of different kinds of chocolates, like. She's gonna really do a good job of imagining it.
Okay. So you picture in your mind the, like, kind of like the chocolate area that you have seen. I'm trying to think of where you've actually seen. Oh, did you see the chocolate room in the Moon Sunder's mansion?
It was destroyed.
Only I have the knowledge of the
You do your
chocolate.
best to imagine
I do my
chocolate.
best, yeah.
You haven't seen a ton of it, but from what you've seen, it's been pretty good quality. And so you kind of like imagine, like, oh, people put like nuts in chocolate, and so, you know, peanuts, things like, and I guess they just take the shells off after, or whatever. But you make a variety of different kinds of chocolate, and as you imagine that, and you press this plate. On the ground, it just drops and begins to stretch and elongate, and almost like there is a invisible curtain that they roll out from. There is just chocolates and chocolates. You see like little truffles and little bars, and almost like little fondue plates of warm, bubbling chocolate that are warmed from like a little invisible flame underneath. It just kind of sprawls out, and in your mind, immediately you can just hear like a little bit of a whimper, and then anybody is he invisible?
He's always invisible
Okay.
unless I or he says he's not.
Suddenly, Arena's body just kind of jerks as he away from your shoulder and collides, and the whole tray just slides on the stone, and the chocolate disappears and smears on the air. And you can see here's some stops, and just like looking over his shoulder at this spectacle, there are some like dryads who stop, and all of you can hear the invisible sounds of "Oh, thank you, Alina."
Oh, you're welcome,
just,
bud.
like,
I was
very
gonna
loud.
save most of that, but okay.
And just
Oh,
throws
buddy.
it all back up.
Oh, buddy.
And then you just hear, "Don't look at me!" And then you see some of it just disappear again. And it's just not a great look. But while this is happening, here's some turns and just says, "Well, aside from this spectacle, is there anything that you all need to prepare? I was planning on heading out directly, but if you need to stop at the Emerald Spire or anywhere else..."
Definitely don't need to eat now.
I'm sorry, and Alina just kind of like picks up the tray.
You could you have to kind of shake it and it drips off. And in your mind, you could hear,
Doing that again.
"Oh, Alina, no, that was great. That was exactly what I wanted, and I feel I'm ready to help. Whatever you need, we're a team now."
We've always been a team. What is it?
I'm sorry about the puke. That was gross.
Yeah, that's
I'm not proud of that.
okay.
I would like to get diamonds if we can before we leave, just in case with our track record. I don't want anyone to suddenly drop dead and not be able to do anything about it.
Very well. Is there a place that you would like to stop, specifically? The Emerald Spire would be preferable, as it is the most easy to transit from.
There's a jeweler there, right?
There are many jewelers in the Emerald Spire, but I've also...
You got them last time. Do you remember where you got them from?
It's a jewelry store.
Okay.
I don't remember where we were. They gave me a lot though. It was nice.
So
It
Emerald
was-
Spire it is
yeah.
then?
Emerald Spire it is then.
Yeah.
And you can see he like just kind of about phases and begins to walk the other direction, not into the halls, but around the building, off in the direction kind of the raccoon racetrack. As you walk there, Ori, you can see the barrels have been pushed around. You can definitely see like where there's like little tiny footprints and everything like that. But if you're not looking for it, it doesn't stand out especially. Just off of that, you can see there's like a large boulder, and across it there are a number of vines that just grow across, almost like grasping vines that have formed a thick mat across the entire face of it. And he steps up to this and he says, "Now, please bear in mind, if we do go to the Emerald Spire, we will be stuck there for one day.
Oh.
After which point we will be able to continue."
Oh.
Well, I mean, usually being stuck places is only a problem because we're worried that you have a timetable. So if you're okay with it, then...
Well,
Also, sorry about the puke.
how are things at the dome?
At the dome, as they were left.
Insight.
Make an insight check against this archfey.
Fine.
I got my ear for deceit. Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh.
Yeah.
You really rolled level 5 there, huh?
19.
19. Okay. I mean, from what you can tell, it's kind of hard to read him. You turn and you look and you squint. You use your eye for detail. Use your ear for deceit. Use your nose for mystery. But you can't really tell. And as you stare at him, he meets your gaze and says, "Ori, is there something I can help you with?"
You really can't. There's no helping him.
No, we should just get going.
Okay, so I don't love the idea of sidetracking us for a whole day. So, should we just make a pact that you just won't die?
I haven't
It's
died yet.
gonna be a day in the city.
Yeah, why? What's, why?
I think
mean,
she's
when-
proposing we skip
A
the
lot can
city.
happen in the city.
What's wrong?
Well, we've just spent a couple days.
I would actually
through the
agree. I think we
underground.
should just,
She's afraid of Ori's shenanigans.
we should try to find something to deal with the temperature and fire that
Oh, right.
we will likely be facing.
I think it's probably worth a stopover.
Okay. I just didn't want to be like, the one reason why we're going the whole day.
I mean, again, I only ever care about speed because I worry about what Hearsome thinks. So if Hearsome's the one proposing
Would
this,
you
then...
know of anywhere where we may procure some form of fire resistance and/or immunity?
Again, if I could have provided that for you, I would.
Right.
Insight.
Make an insight check. Yeah.
Him's a spicy man today.
We're all insane.
We're gonna be going to the city. Could I get a little bit of gold to grab some provisions for the trip?
What sort of provision?
Some reagents.
I can't see it, but I
Some food
trust.
and supplies.
For you.
Those should be
Mundane
things that we can provide once we reach the dunes of the Summer Sea. Diamonds just may not be there, as there are not many mines there. What was your insight check?
Natty 20.
For a total of?
25.
For a total of 5. Lily's negative. As you insight check this, I mean, it seems genuine. He already admitted that this was something that was of a little bit of personal interest to him. And so why wouldn't he help?
Why wouldn't he help?
Yeah. As far as you can tell, there isn't a reason. Is there something deeper that you're trying to discern?
He's been watching us this whole time. Why wouldn't he help?
Has he?
Arch face.
He's been having fun pretending that he's been keeping an eye on our every
He's
move.
been
There's been some evidence that he was
utilizing
watching
us.
us when the shadow fell.
You know the limitations of scry just as well as I do.
How are we getting to the dunes of... What was it called again? Dunes of...
The dunes of the Summer Sea.
Yeah.
Well, I am going to use a spell that will allow us to walk through plants to reach a place familiar to me. It is how I intend to get us to the Emerald Spire. This
magic.
Yes, I've heard that plenty of times.
There seems to be some tension between you, Cheshire, and you, Ori. That might be something to resolve prior to being in a dangerous situation together.
Nope.
Very well. The dunes of the Summer Sea I intend to reach by transport via plant. We can reach the beaches there, and it's a short walk to where we need to be.
Well, off we go then, I suppose.
So to the city?
Yeah.
Or are we... Okay.
I really would like just in case, because we are going to an active volcano with fire giants.
I'm opening this now.
Okay.
It will be open for 7 seconds. Please walk through.
Okay.
I'm going.
You can see he goes over and he kind of like reaches through, and you can see almost like he's trying to find the right page in a book. He runs his hand along the vines before just going, Emerald Spire, here we are, and then just pulls them apart. And as he does, there is no rock behind, but just this shimmering green light. And he just holds it open and steps aside and says, quickly, please.
I'm zipping through. Yeah.
You zip, 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 zip. Give me 1 second here.
And I go like this while I'm doing it, just to show how serious I am.
You feel Rez also on your shoulder doing the same thing.
Is he even more potato shaped than he was before?
He's feeling heavy.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, he's feeling heavy. So,
How's
Doing
the
that again,
quality
buddy. I
of
hope
that
you enjoyed it.
chocolate in comparison?
I thought I was gonna give you
The
one and then
diet
put
trays.
the rest away.
you hear in your mind, he just goes, oh, Alina, you probably shouldn't do that again. I'm tired. Oh. And he's like breathing real heavy.
Do you want to go back to your pocket dimension so you don't vomit on
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bad.
How large is his pocket dimension?
I don't know. I hope it's pretty
Is
big.
he like in a sedan just thrown up in the back of the seat right now?
I would say, Alina, you have noticed that.
It's like
Well,
a
actually, I guess it's been one night.
apartment in New
No.
York.
Joe?
I love when sentences like that get started and then just don't get finished. You're like,
Joseph?
Question
Yes.
from player who wasn't here last week
Yes.
and didn't get to ask.
Yes, you in the corner.
You mentioned, or Hirsim mentioned, that the army is probably led by a dragon?
By a dragon. It's
Well, he said that he wouldn't believe it if it hadn't been for the events of the last 10 years, but there are those who say that it is being led by a dragon, yes.
Can Billy provide, like, rumor of confirmation? Having, like, seen some of that?
I mean,
Because I have a rumor that Billy heard.
what was your rumor?
It's in my thing here that says the aunties were never bothered by it, but Billy certainly would have caught glimpses of a massive winged creature north of the dormant volcano that looks over the bog.
So are you sharing that?
Right.
Not right now, but Billy would share it as soon as we're out of Hirsim's
Okay.
like
so
immediate vicinity.
hold that in there, and then when you're ready, share it. Okay.
Remember when I said my brain is gone?
No worries. So all of you, as you step through, suddenly you just are shot out of this tree that is very familiar to all of you. You've traveled through this very tree before, with the exception of Alice. It is about 9 in the morning, and so there are a number of people who are walking up this hill and towards the Emerald Spire itself. It is relatively sunny out, and it has gotten a little bit cooler in your absence. It's about 75 degrees. As sunny as it gets on Everest.
not quite sweater weather.
Give me 1 moment here. So in front of you, you can see the facet of the welcome, which means that you are approaching from the south. This is the primary entrance. There are those statues that kind of sprawl out to the sides, and you can see that is where people are sneaking their way through. You've been here several times now, and so without too much trouble, you can walk up a hill. You are, to expedite the shopping experience here, Specifically, you are trying to go back to the jeweler that Cheshire had visited?
Well, we're gonna be here overnight, right?
Correct.
So as we're walking, Alina's gonna be like, "Oh, we get to see Crispy again. Excited, bud?"
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, maybe there'll be a cow again.
Oh,
Maybe
man.
something else.
I think
That's all.
I think Mika would like
You know.
go back next to Chester and be like, I don't know where you got them, but can we go back? And also, I don't have money, and I'm pretty sure that you do.
Who said that?
Because
Sorry.
you're you. You always have money.
Also, I have the bag of holding, which means that you have a big bag full of jingly coins.
What?
Presumably.
What?
So many coins.
749 of them.
Not all the coins.
I got the last one, Tinka.
So as you all enter and kind of are making your way in the direction of where you had met Hearsome previously, and Hearsome leads you back, he'll say, I believe that you went to Kaidiathion Road, and there's really only one jeweler of note there, so please follow me. And you...
You wanted to go get some reagents, yeah?
Yeah, but it can wait.
Well, we can go do that and meet back up.
Oh, split the party.
If
We have
that's
plenty of
to
time.
expedite, I suppose we
We're
do
in the
have
city for a
evening.
day.
Fair enough.
if you are all fine going about your business, I have other things that I can attend to.
If
Can you
No.
fund the
No
diamonds?
way.
finance
Can I fund
the
the diamonds?
expedition,
Remind me again, how much were these diamonds that you needed?
300 gold.
the supplies for Varus and
I
myself.
have 3 gold.
Could I see it?
Yes.
And he reaches into his bag and he just begins to pull out coins, handfuls, and just.
Oh.
Can you just please keep counting, Mika?
Oh, okay.
And after a while, you end up with more than 300, and he takes back the remainder. But I mean, it just
29,
seems like he's just yanking out coins.
29.
And then just says, "There, 300 gold.
Thank you.
Very well."
Okay.
What about for
Hannah has learned her lesson. Not asking Hearsome for
chemical
stuff.
reagents? Do you need help with the
Yeah,
this? You
Did
still
we get
remember
the
that?
You guys are always like, I don't know if he's helping us or not. And it's just, you guys generally don't ask for things until, like, unless they're.
I have learned my lesson.
Anyways.
Well, this
Remember how
time he's
last
like,
week we
hey,
made
we're
him
stopping
run
at
errands
the,
for us?
the quick
Amazing.
mart on the way. We've got a day stop, so we're getting a room in the motel, and then you're off. See what's in
How
the
likely
gift
are you to
shop.
part with some of the treasure you don't have?
I would like to get supplies with Valis.
Hearsome
Things
says,
for-
well, it seems as if I've lost all of your attention already. So, I will meet you outside
you
of the
don't
Winsome
have.
Manticore
So
tomorrow
therefore-
morning at 10 a.m.
It's the treasure you don't
I
have.
will see you there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
He
well,
turns
I suppose
and just
if I were to
walks. And before he
rummage
does, he'll
around
turn
in
to
your
you,
pockets
Ori,
for a little bit.
and he will
How do
say,
you feel about me ready?
Ori, what is it that you needed?
Just a little bit of spending money for supplies.
can die.
Reaches into and he just says, really, Ori, you should have asked when I was getting this before.
Again.
And he just,
How many?
22 gold pieces.
How much do you need?
I will see you all tomorrow.
I guess
And he
we can.
turns.
I guess we'll
Makes
have
his
to do
way
with that.
That's
I have
all right.
money. I
We
can
can
spot
be
you.
frugal.
I was hoping to get. I think they sell like a climber's kit as a package. I think that it goes for 25 gold.
Oh, I have 3 gold.
No, that's I. How many gold do you need? 3 more gold?
3 gold now.
Okay, I give you 3
I
gold.
think I've got some money.
So, this is what we'll do for shopping. We can go around in a circle and kind of figure out what we need. So, Ori and Valis, the two of you are going off to get like general supplies.
I want to get like resources for the things that we had discussed.
Okay, sure. I would say if you're looking for both of those things, both the kind of mobile version and the kind of closer to home version, you could probably roll just a general persuasion check.
Ooh,
I have
persuasion.
no idea what is being discussed right now.
Yeah.
Secrets.
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 I hate secrets.
Secrets.
Yikes.
Especially when they end with a yikes.
Yeah. Especially, yeah.
11.
11. Okay. So you meet a very eccentric gentleman. Really, you kind of get yourself lost a little bit. You're asking for stuff, and people. That is not something that people traditionally make, especially not on the Emerald Spire, this beautiful place where that kind of stuff would very quickly cause issues with the materials. And so you eventually find your way to this very shady individual in the darker kind of depths of the spire.
Probably, yeah.
It does take you a fair amount of time. And Valis, are you going as well?
Well, I guess it depends on whether he has invited.
What the hell is he looking for?
Would we be able to get the supplies that Valis needs? I was gonna go and because it seemed like there could be some.
So one thing at a time. For this in
I'm
particular,
following him until
Alright,
he
come on.
and what
hides from.
what are you telling Valis that you're looking for?
So, we're gonna go get some supplies, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Okay. And so are you allowing Valis to overhear you ask for these supplies?
Can I use Thieves' Cant?
You don't even have to. I mean, you could just kind of like quietly talk to the people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Valis, are you trying to overhear?
No.
Okay. So yeah, you can quietly ask around, and you have no idea. You're just led into a dark back alley, just happy as can be, and you make your way to a gentleman named. So, or you have to decide first if you want to inform Valis that you are meeting a gentleman named Stabby Stew. But that is who you are told to meet. And this is the guy who is going to have the good, dark molasses that you need for that thing.
He's gonna have that good. Who are we meeting? I haven't been in this part of town before.
Yeah, me neither. Before we go, I feel like I should really just.
What are you hiding from me?
And you're going down right now to like these dark, like the emerald that is forming the walls of these
At the
spaces
current
is like
moment-
really dark.
The thing most pressing, the gentleman that we are about to rendezvous with for the supplies that we are looking for goes by the name of Stabby Stew.
Don't worry. What business have you gotten yourself wrapped into?
Is that a potentially, that seems like a goblin name to me.
To you, Matt?
I mean, based on some of the other goblin
Make an insight check.
Knockies?
Every person in this group has been casually racist by accident. We are fantasy racists.
Except for
all of
Alina,
us.
who's built it
Alina
into
is not accidental.
Our goblin
And
experiences have all been with people like Stabby Stew.
As usual,
Ori,
Alina's just happy to
You
not
know
be the most
exactly
racist person
one
in the group
word
anymore.
in Goblin right now, and that is Wachaka. And Stabby Stew and Wachaka have different sounds to them, and so you think that perhaps it is not a goblin. Or maybe in this town that is primarily like elf and
Goblinoid.
human, maybe other people have named this creature. Heck, maybe Stabby
Alright,
Stew.
well, I
is
guess we're gonna find out because we're going to meet him.
Walking.
My best friend's a goblin.
Sure, we couldn't find a climber's kit from someone not named Stabby Stew.
The climber's gate is after. We need to pick up a few things first. And then
And you come to the alleyway that the person informed you that Stabby Stew likes to frequent. It's very narrow, such that you cannot be too across.
Perfect for stabbing.
And you can see, like, there are several other smaller alleys that go off, many of which have crates and things piled in, so it's hard to tell are these alleys or kind of little inlet nooks that are designed for storage until you really enter. About 30 feet down, you can see it makes a little...
I'm pausing at the part where it's now a tunnel.
Okay.
I would like to look for any hidden stabby.
Make an investigation check. Are you
Maybe we all
specifically
should have
looking for
stayed
hidden
together.
stabby thing?
I'm looking for a person.
Remember how earlier Joe was like, I wonder if I can fit 3 combats into a session. Yep.
I mean, here's
one for him, one for him.
Oh boy. 16. 16.
In the chat,
16.
Talon just said the word ambush.
Yeah, this feels like an ambush. That's why I'm rolling, because I feel like this is very clearly an ambush, and I don't want to set
Valis, you say, or
choices have led you here.
what have you gotten yourself into that we would need to be? And like as you do, you look down, and it's
I'm
like
asking for a bunch of stuff.
This dark alleyway, and Ori, you're like looking carefully, and you do notice that there is a string that seems to be tied to little scraps of like you see like maybe rusted dagger or like some like piece of metal. At one point it was maybe stabby, although the way that it is set up, more designed to make noise.
We got a whoa.
Just in time.
Things were just looking so good, Talon. All right, I'm gonna go. All right.
All right.
This seems
Before we move forward down this hallway, I
Right.
would beg you to reconsider if you can get your goods elsewhere.
Can I get my goods elsewhere?
I mean, you've been asking around for a while, and so at the risk of not being able to get anything for Valis, you could try again.
I don't.
Do you really need what we're looking for here? Whatever it is we're here for?
Well, I feel like it would be good to have
What is it?
in the long run supplies. I've got.
Can you be a little bit more specific?
Ideas to make things a little easier for me personally. Dealing with.
Is this your idea of easier for you? And I point down the hallway.
I've seen worse, right?
I mean, you quite literally just came from the Shadowfell, where you fought a shadowy succubus and a giant. So it really kind of depends on what your scale for worse is.
Yeah,
Nearest
so
road made out
I
of
look
gourd
at
was
Valis and I said,
straw.
I have seen worse. I'm gonna
Lead the way.
all right, just back me up. We'll be in and out. I don't understand why it's such a big deal to find these things in the first place. I'm gonna go up and it's a dagger on a string.
It's like several bits of metal, one of which is like an old rusted dagger blade that are kind of tied up so that if you were to hit the string, they would all clink against each other.
Okay, I'm gonna tap it.
Okay. And you just hear from around the corner, who goes there?
Hello, it's me, Ori. Here to purchase some supplies.
And you see these really pale humanoid-looking fingers
Sent
just
me.
reach around, and then leaning way out, you see this like shriveled old man, human. You can see like big fluffy bit of hair in the center, and then like all balding down the side. If you've ever seen like the monk kind of haircut, this is the reverse. So just tiny. It's an unintentional. It's a very unintentional mohawk, and you can see like a little patchy. Like he's not choosing this. This is very much happening to him. But he looks around the corner. He's a little dirty. He looks a little singed around his eyebrows, and he just goes, "Who's looking for Stabby Stew?"
Me. You must be Stabby Stew.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you.
Come on. And he just.
So
around the
you
corner.
have the supplies that I need?
Might be.
I'm gonna look for a basket. Alright, let's go. I'm gonna
I'm 10 feet
continue.
behind him.
You walk down the stabby corridor, woe hovering behind you. And around the corner, you watch as this human walks behind. You can see almost like a bar that has been constructed at this dead end of an alley, like a wooden counter. And behind it, there are a number of like crates, very similar to the ones that you've seen piled up. But these have had the front pulled away. And there's like a number of items in here. It's not unlike a general store. You see, in fact, elements of a climber's kit up on one of those shelves. You also see a whole variety of different chemicals and things in bottles,
Right.
entirely unlabeled.
Cool.
They seem to be organized in a way that probably makes sense to him. But he turns around, he takes a cloth that is very badly burned and kind of wipes this counter down. You can see it comes away with splinters, but he tucks it into his waistband and he goes, "So what can Stu do for you?
I'm
You're looking
going
to get a little stabby with someone."
well, that climbing kit looks pretty nice, actually. I think that would be good for you, right? Does it? It looks like
How much for the climbing kit?
For you?
probably fit, right?
He looks in and he goes,
I look back.
come here. Come here.
I take a step forward.
He slowly reaches out with his hands. He like reaches out like he's about to touch your forehead. Are you gonna let him?
Watch the eyes.
Yeah.
Okay. He touches you and he just goes, ah, ah. Good skin routine. 20 gold pieces.
I give him 20 gold pieces.
He goes and he turns around and you can see like pulls this climbing kit out and he bends down underneath the counter and he pulls out a leather bag, tucks it all away and wraps it up for you and hands it over. You can add a climbing kit to your inventory.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's good to know, Val.
Still likes you.
Okay.
What about you?
I'm gonna pass him a little recipe list that I had written.
He is making cookies.
Takes this out and just
Do you have anything?
reaches under the counter again and takes out these lensless glasses. Yeah, I can do this. I can do this. How much?
You're not gonna.
Do you want me to? Oh, it must be my birthday.
Yeah,
He just,
it's very upsetting.
I'm not quite as good.
I'm a robot.
Or he doesn't moisturize.
When he pulls away, and this didn't happen to you, not that you have any way of comparing this, when he pulls his hand away, very damp. It kind of leaves a little bit of dampness on you. But he comes back and just goes, you happy now?
How much?
That's what I'm asking you. How much do you want? How many are you trying to make?
Oh, how much can you offer? I have
Really
25 gold, and I guess I've got some blowgun needles. I lost the.
I don't really like to party like that, but I'll take 25 gold pieces for you, and I can give you some supplies for about 15 to 20, depending on how talented you are. You're a little dry, probably closer to 15.
Well, we'll see. 25 gold.
Puts it in his pocket, drops that down. He pulls out what was like a pony keg and fills it with this dark, I mean, you can smell it from here. This is molasses that has been mixed with some kind of a pitch or tar. And it is enough for roughly 15 of the things that you were trying to make. He gives you some other things, little elements of wood, some feathers. And in fact, I think he would say, and you know what? For you, dry boy, reaches under and you can add a fletching kit to your inventory.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
While he's making that, I'm gonna look around the store. Is there anything that I don't know what it is?
Yes, but in particular, so
most things.
lots of things. And part of the problem is when you look to the right hand side, tons of jars. You can see like definitely strawberries in one of them. Another one, there's moving things. Like there's all kinds of stuff in here, and none of it is labeled, and so it's kind of hard to tell.
Oh, does it all look like?
Are anything
Looks like reagents.
Reagents? Okay.
Is anything recognizable?
I mean, if you look one by one, yes, each thing is recognizable, but it's many different things. So what are you looking for?
Like some sort of sulfur compound.
That's included with the nuts.
Oh, okay, all that's
he
in
has
there?
given you everything
Okay,
that you need to
Cool.
create 15 to 20 of these,
Okay.
depending on how talented you
Cool.
are.
Okay.
Does he have anything on sale that's not like a reagent, like items or anything?
Oh, yeah.
Guys.
So it's, I mean, very much like a general store. So you can see in things that you don't recognize, make
It's for my
an
dry
investigation check.
Maybe that was the woe. Was that I
Eight.
tries.
I love that. 8?
Yeah.
With an 8? No, I mean, it's just kind of general goods, and it's just a lot of it's kind of junk that has been cobbled together to make disparate things into, like, that Fletcher's kit that Ori has. None of the tools match. But it is a functional kit. And so this is like a thrift store, essentially, this guy has put together.
There is one thing I do need. My thieves tool kit is missing a
Right.
tumbler. Do you just have a tumbler for a thieves tool
Not a
kit?
full set. It's okay to have a backup.
I have the full set. I just need the tumbler.
Right, but I mean, if you get a second
Hey.
one,
He just spent all his money.
Hey, let him ask for what he wants.
Sorry.
Yeah. You know what, dry but yeah.
Just a tumbler.
Yeah, 1 second. And he goes underneath, and he says, and he has to actually go back and like look around for a little bit, but eventually he pulls out. It is not like designed to be a torsion wrench necessarily, but it will work for that purpose. Yes, it's like a scrap of metal that is the right shape.
Okay.
You have a tumbler.
Very good. Stabby Steve, do you partake?
Stew.
Stabby Stew. Do you partake in beer or wine?
Stabbing? Oh, from time to time.
I am. Never mind. But it was very nice to meet you. Thank you very much. We should be on our way, though.
Okay.
Until next time, Stabby Stew. Thank you very much. We'll be taking our leave.
Goodbye. He just kind of goes back and starts like polishing the counter
I turn
again.
to go, and I can't go around Malice. So I just be like, you're taking the lead now.
So, Cheshire, what are you doing?
I would like to charm and swindle the population.
Okay. Make a general performance check.
He's a pretty cool guy.
Turned out better than expected, frankly.
Definitely thought you guys were gonna meet the stabby and
21?
the stabby stew.
21. Okay.
Getting some
So,
molasses.
over the course of like the hours in which your compatriots are spending time like preparing for this dangerous journey ahead and everything, you pull out your instruments and you begin to play the latest tunes that you have set up about compatriots mostly, painting them in lights. You manage to procure about 13 gold pieces, but very pointedly, that's only in like the first 2 hours, and then it really dries up. Not a single coin after that first 2 hours.
Well, then I'm gonna go find a beer.
Okay, no problem. You can mark off 1 copper piece, and you can have a beer. Cheshire, sorry, I just talked to Cheshire. Billy.
Polar opposite.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about polar opposite, but
Solar opposite.
different.
Same coin.
Billy wants to not get hit as much as she gets hit, so she's gonna look for a little bit more sturdy armor.
Yeah, and in what kind of armor are you looking for specifically?
Well, she's gotta be resourceful. Because she's got 11 gold.
Yep.
Does Billy tell Alina that this is what she's looking for?
Yeah, she's probably just like, I don't want to get hit as much anymore, so I'm gonna go find better, and just gestures at this.
Can you use a shield?
No. It gets in the way.
Down.
Can I come?
Sure.
Minka just starts following because Alina has all of the money. She put it in the bag of holding.
I don't have that much money. Cheshire has most of the money, but
No,
I guess...
I mean the money that Hirschum took. Minka just put it in the bag of holding.
Oh, right, yeah.
Instead of holding it. So she's just gonna follow.
So what kind of armor are you looking for?
I mean, Billy can probably just afford scale mail with some smooth talking.
Everyone's loaded and down, rolling around with 3 gold.
I can help. What you looking for?
What was that?
I mean, I have some money.
So going back to the places that you've been previously, you would remember scale mail can come in at about 45 gold. If you want to try a persuasion check again at disadvantage, you could try to... Your last conversation didn't go great.
I can chip in. I don't want you to get hit that much either.
Is there like a blacksmith around? Maybe like they can put this in, and she just holds up the Inakamudi scale. Like, I don't know. The other guy said you could use reagents. Maybe this is a thing.
Make a persuasion check.
Persuasion.
Yeah.
18.
18. I mean, that's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Second here.
Persuasion is my best That's all I'm good for. It's persuasion and perceiving things and
Perceiving things is pretty good too, though.
intimidating.
all very important things.
So, as you are looking around for this kind of thing, and you're going to use the Isomudus.
Inakamudi scale.
I don't have it in front of me, so I have no idea what it is anymore.
It's the thing we fought at the lake.
Yeah, still no idea.
I think
Inakamudi.
anti-magic properties or something.
It was I remember that. It was just 2 words, and I just don't remember what they were. It's Inakamudi, I think.
Yep.
But I would say with no problem, you could have somebody implant that into it. It wouldn't do anything. It would just kind of look really cool.
Unless someone hit you in that exact spot with a magic missile.
As you are like asking about this, I would say the individual that you've talked to would be decent enough to tell you this is the kind of thing that absolutely could have some real applications. They are not skilled enough to work with it. You would need somebody who is proficient in arcane smithing. If only you knew somebody like that.
I know somebody. We're not gonna be there.
Well, maybe you can just get armor now and hold on to the scale.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and then maybe, yeah. Okay.
If you want to mark off 45 gold, you could add scale mail to your inventory.
I got you.
And is like, do you have like a? Billy's currently wearing her leather armor. Do you have like a changing room where I can like take this off?
He just like gestures to the back. There's like a absolutely.
Billy doesn't care if it's a legit changing room. And she just takes the studded leather off.
Swapping it out?
Can you like resell this? Does it have any resale value?
No.
You could probably
Please take that with you.
take the leather and turn it into like some accessories.
So beyond the fact that it's used, it has like it has things growing attached to it. Like it's not great.
It's vintage.
Things are growing on it.
Like alive, like currently.
Some biotech firms.
What kind of
would be
thing?
interested.
You're not there. But you've seen previously little bits of lichen and things of that nature that do kind of crawl out from the sort of hair and then into elements of armor. But no problem. You've added that. Alina, what are you trying to buy?
Nicknames.
Friendship.
I don't know, like more spell slots. I don't know. Like Alina's pretty good. I mean, as she looks around the shop, does anything catch her eye, Joe?
I mean, again, I would need to know what you're looking for because you're in the Emerald Spire, which is a huge city. There's a lot of stuff in here, and so with enough looking, you can find most things. It's just a matter of whether you can obtain them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm good, I guess.
What about you, Minka?
Diamonds.
Diamonds. So heading back.
Big bag of diamonds.
Give me just 1 second. Oh yeah, right. So as everybody breaks off and kind of goes their separate ways, before you catch up with Alina and Cheshire, oh gosh, I got lost in my notes. There we are. Okay.
Lost in the sauce.
Kind of. Pearson will pull you aside and just say, I would recommend either going to the jeweler's auction block, although that can be very variable in terms of what prices you might get, or you could make your way on the Kiriathion Road to a jeweler that I know and just tell them that Hirsum sent you. They work in a place called the Arantage Collection, or Arancitage Collection. Hard to miss. They're a copper dragonborn.
Oh, okay. I can spell. Okay.
And so if you go there,
Yeah.
you can buy diamonds at cost.
Okay. I mean, Mika's fine with that, unless you want to try to haggle. I don't.
That's yeah. That I can try. I can try to help, but at cost is pretty good.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, let's go.
Mark off 300 gold. You can have 300 gold, and it is several smaller diamonds that will function in that process.
One more thing. How much would it cost to grind a diamond?
They previously said that they will grind stones for free.
Okay. Minka has 2 100 gold piece diamonds, and she would like to get one of them ground up.
Just takes an hour.
Okay.
Yeah. No problem.
So she now has also 300 gold piece diamonds again.
There you go.
So if someone fucking dies, we got him.
Is there an herbalist shop near us?
Yeah.
Billy's gonna pop in and just kind of gather up the ingredients for some standard healing potions
Okay.
and purchase those.
No problem.
Nice.
How many healing potions are you trying to make?
At least 6.
At least 6.
And more would be great, but
Okay. I mean, that's gonna be pretty pricey.
yeah.
Give me 1 second here.
How much would 6 get me?
1 second here. I want to say you're coming in close to probably close to 200 gold, give or take. I mean, basically, if you want to think about it, you're getting 2 free health potions eventually. So, yeah.
Billy just puts a bunch of stuff back and gets enough to make one.
There you go.
How much is
You're
that?
making 1.
Billy's poor, man.
I think we all are.
I somehow had
10 gold
100
pieces.
gold pieces in my pocket.
I think
There you go.
from that time here, someone was like,
Maybe.
I had
it's when you, the last time you asked for gold.
Oh, okay.
and then he was like, here's 22, and then I was like, I have 25.
How much would 20 pounds of opalized wood go for on the market these days?
I forgot about that.
20 pounds of opalized wood.
Yeah.
In the bag of holding.
Do some math real quick.
Oh, I also have a pearl worth 20 gold. I sell that at some point.
So they will offer you 152 gold pieces for that piece of opalized wood.
Insight check to see if
Make
that's
an
good
insight
or
check.
not.
I mean,
I have no fucking clue.
I would actually argue that given your background, you have a pretty good idea
I
that
do.
this is.
I forgot if yeet or fuck was the bad one, but it is, in fact, I forgot this has both fuck and yeet on the same.
Yeet. It was a yeet.
It was a yeet, so it was a natural 20,
which is a
insight.
yeet.
which in total is 24.
It's about a 10% markup,
Okay.
which is I mean, that's what you're going to get in a store essentially.
Okay. I'll hold on to that information for next time we need money, but for now,
Okay. No problem.
So how much is it worth?
152 gold.
Is there anything else that people want to do before? Yes.
2 things. I want to go to the candy shop and buy a bunch more candy. I forget from the machine.
Yeah, sure. How many pieces
Oh,
are you
he
trying
was
to get?
gonna hold on to chocolate for us the next time we were in town.
Yep.
He
Oh,
did.
yeah.
And
Candy
that's
shop
coming
guy.
in, that
I
is coming in on
totally forgot about
Tuesday. You have 2 days left.
Oh,
Okay.
We're gonna be
How much?
gone.
How much is it? One. Was it a silver?
1 gold piece.
1 gold?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
It's the gnomish
I
gumball
am
machine.
all out, my friend. I
I'll-
apologize.
do it 3 times.
Okay.
And what I roll? Was it a T100?
D100.
It's my entire income.
My entire income.
Let's see.
I like how Valis is just slowly becoming a gambling addict, but for magical candy that he does not eat.
59, 57, and whoa.
You really like these candies.
Oh, 89.
89? Okay. So, Valis, 2 of the candies that come out are just relatively mundane little sugar things. One of them seems to be, again, you can't really tell what they do, but 2 of them seem to be relatively innocuous and probably very low level cantripy kind of things like prestidigitation. There's one that you get that does seem to be made out of chocolate. And you can see little elements of what looks almost like, it's probably sugar, but almost looks like ruby that is embedded into this little truffle-like piece.
Okay.
And it feels a little bit more magical than those other ones.
Okay. What should I mark down in my inventory?
You can
Magical
add.
candy.
I have to pull up the actual table.
Chonka
Should write
bars.
this down. Do you have a pen and like a little card I can write?
Oh, damn.
So you can just write C1, 2 C1s, and then you could add 1 T3.
Is the T3 the ruby?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, is there any way for me to know what these do with detect magic or?
Make an Arcana check. With Detect Magic, you could get this. You could get like the school, I believe.
Okay.
I can double check, but I'm pretty sure that's what you get.
Natural 20 on the Arcana check.
Oh, I mean, you don't even need to. You take these and you pop open the little container. You sniff the first two. One of these will very briefly give you like very, very elongated face style ears, even more than you already have. The other one will turn your skin the texture of bark. Ooh. This one that has these little red gems in it, it's almost like a lesser version of a spell that is called Investiture of Flames. And so for one turn, things that touch you will get hurt with fire, and things that you touch will get hurt with fire. For one turn.
Okay. And how long does the long ears and skin bark last?
For 10 minutes.
Skin bark.
Okay.
Not to be, it's not to be confused with the bark
I
skin.
thought of something I want to buy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to see if there's a spot where I can buy a dark shard amulet or trade for one.
Dark Shard Amulet. I don't know if those are
Stabby
Ebron.
Steve
I don't know.
would probably
It's
have
a common
that.
item. I don't know.
It's an
from-
Ebron thing, though.
No, well, it's in Xanathar's.
Oh, hang on one sec.
So I didn't mean to.
Or Stabby Stew. Stabby Steve.
A dark shard amulet or something like one.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, this is a different thing that I was thinking of. Okay.
It's just like a maybe you can cast a cantrip amulet if you're a warlock.
This isn't the kind of thing that I would say, Alina, you probably know how to make one of these if you had the things for it. You would need the right kind of like crystals for it. Make a roll a d100. There's like one place in the Emerald Spire that I could think of that would probably have a few of these kicking around.
Oh, would it be?
I don't know that Hearsome would even know about this.
Ooh, I
You
think
might.
I know.
You might.
I think
20.
I know.
It's not Stu.
No, but I
wait,
think
no,
I think I Matt
Well, it's
know.
Stu.
Well, Stu has the potential to help.
Things that Ori
It's
would
funny.
What is
probably
okay.
know.
20.
20?
Yeah.
You look around for this, and after a little while, Minka, are you like letting Minka hear you look for these things?
Yeah. Alina's like, oh, there was this one thing that I read about in this book. What was that book called? Anyway, we're in town, so maybe I can find the pieces to put this together. It's called a and it doesn't, you know.
Yeah. So there is a varietal of amethyst that you have heard of that is capable of capturing arcane energies, almost in the way that like a mirror captures heat. It does so over time and then is able to reflect whatever it was that it captured and might work in this way. And this is something that you have seen growing in the caves around your home. You aren't really aware of other places that it might be, as your experience with other places is a little bit limited, but you are familiar that that is a material. You didn't see any of it at the jeweler that you went to. And so you don't really know what it is, but you know what you could make it with.
Okay.
And if you have the material, you can make it in a short rest.
Hell yeah. Well, can you help me keep an eye out for that material?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, that particular amethyst, like I mentioned, it is by my hometown. So if we ever go over that way, we can definitely grab some.
Okay.
Or at least we can look for some. Whether or not we can actually find some can be a blip of it. Anyway, you get the idea.
Okay. Well, if anyone can find rocks, it's you.
Not wrong. Anything else?
Not many.
I want to go read the Treaty of Four Seasons.
Okay.
He's been waiting.
So we're
So
going to the library now?
No, I think he said it was like a
you would
based
need
on a sign.
you would need
portal.
Hearsome to bring you there.
Oh, really? It's not
Yeah.
accessible?
It is accessible, but you need to. So like, yes. So it's accessible in the same way that the White House is accessible. There are public tours, but you kind of have to know somebody to get one. And like,
I mean, there's no library of the Emerald Spire where they just have it behind glass.
There is actually a library where they may have an additional copy.
Forever, and it's way smaller than you expected.
Probably Valis is not welcome there.
Oh,
but
really?
the place where it's publicly accessible is above the Summer Gate, Titania's Gate, and there's like a copy that has been there with a number of other kind of legislative things. That is a place that in order to use, you have to have like a certain status within the Emerald Spire. It's not hard to get, and Hearsum said he would take you.
While we were here last time, Hearsum had mentioned getting us into the library, correct?
Yes, yeah.
As a reward.
Correct.
Which I don't think we've earned yet.
No, probably. Well, I don't know.
How was that dome?
It's the same as it was before. I don't know.
Well, wait,
That's
you
what
guys
he
didn't
said.
go.
We didn't get there
And
yet.
so we don't really know.
We didn't get
Oh, we don't get our library trip as a present.
We didn't get there yet. We'll get there next time.
Study hall now.
No.
Billy goes back to the inn early and just borrows the tavern's kitchen and starts working on the single health potion that she can make.
No problem. Yeah, you can do that. Crispy will help you as much as he can, or as much as you allow him. Not especially good at alchemy, but eager to help. Not much else going on. It has stories to tell.
Yeah.
Anybody else? If you need to, you can all mark off a long rest, and in the morning you can meet with Hearsum.
There is
Could I have-
one more thing I want to do in the
didn't-
evening.
Yes, same.
Okay, sorry. Yes,
I
Val.
don't remember what it's called, but
Transon?
the other bar.
I thought
where
that's all that you're gonna give me.
Sermenti.
I don't remember what it's called though.
But I don't remember the bar's
What do I know?
name. It was like Sermenti told me to go there to meet him.
Oh, it was the
yeah.
same bar that we had gone where I got the glass that was Lysander's.
Oh, it was like. Was it the CD
down in
place?
the lower levels? Yeah, the CD
There's
place.
two different
place where
places
we
that
got
we're
jumped?
calling-
No.
Talking about. So,
I gotta go back to my notes. Before that.
I find him again in the Endless March.
The Endless March. Thank you.
so the Endless
Endless
March.
March is different thing.
Yeah, so those are two different things. The Endless March, the one that you're talking about is the Armored Cuttlefish.
Yes.
That is where you guys were previously,
Yep.
where you got jumped. The Endless March is a place where a couple of you have talked about. Actually, Billy sang a song about it earlier on in our campaign. Somebody told you something about the Endless March. Yeah,
Yeah, Sermenti told me that that's where I could find him.
yeah.
So I'd go there.
Okay. Make a survival check.
I would help
Hmm.
if I can, like, navigating the city to help Valis find where he's trying to go.
I don't think that gives either advantage or disadvantage.
I don't know. I've been in the
I
city.
think that's moral support.
3!
Yeah, moral support. I'm letting Valis take the lead now that we've gotten the supplies that I wanted. So I'm just like, so what do you want to do while we're here?
Morally supportive
Like,
3. That's
cool.
what that is.
All that really sticks out in
I'm
your
just happy
head,
to be here with
Valis,
you, buddy.
is he told you there was signs of twisted steel and steps of bone, and so you're looking for those things. And
I
man,
don't think we're gonna find.
who would
any
make
that
steps
in-
out of bone? That is crazy, and that's not like a very
Emerald
good
spine.
material for stairs. It's
I've
chips.
never
It's like very brittle. It's porous, and so as it like gets rained on, like it'll probably wear away. Terrible thing, and you don't find any bone steps.
Okay.
So what are you looking for?
The Endless March? Have you heard of it?
I mean, in the songs and.
Yeah, you would have heard
Yeah,
about it
like
from
in the song.
songs.
What? Yeah.
I mean, yes. Are we trying to?
End of sentence.
Do you know where to find it?
It's not here, right? It's not.
It's in the Emerald Spire. Oh yeah.
Is it? Do I know where to find it? Can I ask around with thieves' can't?
Yeah, you absolutely can. So make a persuasion check.
Oh, we might be
Ooh.
finding it.
You find it.
You transit,
19.
you shop, and you find it.
Oh, so many verbs.
There are every now and then people definitely who speak thieves can't. You definitely get this, and you get like pulled into the conversation. So you start saying like, "Oh, hey, have you seen our aunt, like whoever or whatever?" And you get involved.
It has been just endless.
When it gets to the point that you start talking about that march that's endless, people always seem to be busy, or people always seem to be like, oh, you know what? I actually just remembered. And then they leave.
Seems like no one's really willing to talk about going on this.
Ori, with a 19, with Thieves' Cant, when people do that and you're speaking Thieves' Cant, generally it is because whatever you are trying to touch belongs to a particular organization.
Would I know which organization may have its hands in the Endless March?
In kind of a circular way, yeah.
Ooh, I feel like Matt is supposed to know what that means.
I know what that means.
Matt
I mean,
does
is
know.
it-
Matt does know, very much so.
Billy has no fucking clue, but Kara
Matt has been a
knows.
standing member. All right, I'm gonna back off on this for now. I don't think we're gonna be able to find it on this trip. Maybe next time, but probably not that time either. If we're lucky.
Did you say Ori's been a standing member?
No,
Oh.
not Ori.
Gunter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you saying I should give up on finding it?
Assume.
It would probably find you when you're ready,
I'm sorry.
but I don't really know myself too much about it. Probably just don't. You should focus on finding your memory first. That seems more like a higher priority, in my estimation.
Okay.
You want to go see a bar? There's thousands of bars here.
Sermenti asked me to meet him there. That's why I was looking for it. But we can
So, from
come
the-
back some other time if you
And
think
he
he'll
was from the
find
Awesome
me.
Lock as well?
He was from the Awesome Lock,
Hmm.
in the same way that I was from the Awesome Lock as well.
We also fast traveled there, so he's probably not there yet.
Huh.
You guys literally just went like several days to the east.
Oh,
that guy
let's.
that guy was just wandering the wastelands for like several years and is like finally able to eat and stuff. And you guys are like, yeah, he probably just jogged for 3 days, right?
I
Let's
definitely
go
broke
back to
this
the
6
Winston
times.
Manic.
28 hours.
Go back to the Winston Manic.
Yeah.
And if it
You
is
should-
the type of
you
thing that
should
will find
focus
us,
on.
you,
Yeah, you
it
should.
sounds like
You should focus on getting your memory back. That seems like the best course of action in your current situation,
Okay.
based on what I know, which is not much.
Okay.
There you go. You walk back. Billy?
So, Ori's new weapon has little shiny gems in it that do things. Billy's weapon has little shiny gems, and she's noted that they do kind of move every now and then. She's gonna spend a little bit of time trying to figure out if that's a thing.
Okay.
She's got a thing that does shiny gem stuff too.
Make an Arcana check.
We got matching shiny gem sets.
I would love to just have a shiny gem. Ooh. 21?
And you're talking about your
My sword.
weapon in particular?
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, there is something to those gems being a little loose. You can't quite figure out what it is.
Dag.
Where'd you get that sword, Billy? Something to think about.
Picked it up off a dead guy.
So, anybody else? Anything you want to do before you start the next leg of your journey?
I appreciate you helping me out with the raccoon race the other night. I was saying thank you. It was nice to have a little distraction from all the chaos.
It
Yeah.
was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ori.
Oh no, thank you. It was very good. Very good.
Honk shoe,
That's
honk
it.
shoe.
The morning eventually rises.
Let's go get
Someone's like,
drunk.
it feels like it's been quite a long time, but no problem. You make your way out.
It's like an hour and 15 minutes, which I think in Everest time translates to like a week.
But you make your way to the front of the Wincing Manticore one by one. You could all mark off a long rest if you want.
Yeah, why not?
We did not do anything.
And
that needs to be rested.
Because it is 8:15, we will take a quick break after doing all of that heavy lifting.
So tired.
We will be back in just a little bit.
Replenish on a long rest.
It does not, unfortunately. We'll be back in 10 minutes. See you then.
Bye.
and welcome back to Adventures in Albaron, Courts of Everest. We'll pick right back up outside of the Winston Manticore as all of you prepare to make your way to the dunes of the Summer Sea. Give me just one moment here.
Wait, I'd like to do more shopping, please.
Give me one second.
No.
I'd actually like to buy each outfit separately and then price compare at different shops.
I'm actually
I would like to describe how I knit my socks.
Actually, I would like to go back to Stabby Stew. I'd like to make a
Can I tell you how crazy it is that you went to Stabby Stew in the first place? Like,
I mean, I want these things. I thought they were pretty innocuous. I didn't realize I had to go to a guy named Stabby Stew to get them.
During the break, I meant to bully you into telling me what the heck you're making, but
Don't worry about it.
didn't get a chance.
So you make your way over to Hearsome, and he meets you outside of this place. There are still people going back and forth in the warm and welcome way. You can see all the shops kind of lining the street here, and the magical emerald that rises up on either side, forming the hallway. But Hearsome, wearing his normal kind of traveling clothing, turns to all of you and says, "Are you all quite ready?"
Yes.
Oh, I resummoned Rez during the rest.
He pops back out and goes, "Oh, I feel way better. All right.
That's great, but
Sorry about that.
that's okay. Never again.
It's really embarrassing."
Yeah.
So Hearsome, at this
We
point,
both learned our lesson.
turns and leads you all out of the Emerald Spire. You make your way back down the pathway, back down the hillside in the slightly warmer day, and back to a very familiar tree. At this tree, Hearsome turns to all of you and says, "We are going to step back into the Feywild, so please be mindful of where you step and what you touch. The other side of this place will be a beautiful dune and beach. Please do not go into the water. And as you make your way along the path, be careful. When we get there, I will go ahead to announce your presence. Do you have any questions?"
Should we talk at all?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. We're going to see this is a Hannah question. We're going to see the dragonfly person, right?
Her royal
Correct.
highness.
Her Royal Flyness.
Lisa Shamara prefers to be called Her Royal Flyness. That is not my choice, and I would prefer, for this very reason, for all of you to talk. I will get you secured. I can secure for you these dragonflies. If you have anything else that you need, that is for you. You said you needed reagents, so you can speak to her.
Is there anything else we need to know about?
Well, have any of you flown giant dragonflies before?
No.
No.
Do they know common?
They do not, I don't believe, but I also don't believe they really speak. It is more of an intuitive communication.
Okay.
What was that, Ori? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was wondering, I've never flown any fireflies
No.
before.
No. Dragonflies is no.
I've never flown fireflies or dragonflies.
Well, I mean, are you coming with us, or are you dropping us off?
No, I'm coming with you, and then I will go ahead once we reach the actual dunes. We'll need to trek through marsh, and that isn't really for me. But I'll meet you at the end. Ah, Alina, I would not advise flying, but you can if you wish.
Why would you not advise flying?
The grass tends to grow and try to pull you back down. And once it starts growing, it's very hard to get stopped.
So we can walk through the grass, but if we start flying, the grass is like, no, come back.
I wouldn't advise walking through the grass. I would walk down the pathway that has been cleared for you.
Okay, so stay on the path.
Yes. In general, I would recommend staying on the path.
Okay.
I had hoped that this was generally just good knowledge.
Is there a emergency situation and the path suddenly disappears?
There shouldn't be, but that would classify as an emergency, certainly. I don't know what else to tell you.
Okay.
If that happens, you are in trouble.
Okay. I didn't know if there was like a signal or something we could do.
Oh, quite. And he actually reaches into his pocket and he pulls out 2 rocks that look very, very similar.
Some sort of
And he says, I didn't have one last time, but since I have become more prepared, I do have a pair of these. Valis. And he gives you one of the sending stones. You can add a sending stone to your inventory.
Immediately throws it away.
Valis, I would prefer that you be in charge of the sending stone.
Thank you.
How do
Alina,
I use it?
Yeah.
is there something that you would like to say?
No.
How do I use it?
All that you need to do is hold the symbol and speak into it. If I am nearby, I will hear your message and respond. If I am not, it will make this rune glow, very similar to yours. If your rune is glowing, touch it, and you should hear my voice. Any further questions? Any further shopping?
No shopping. But I do like to pick up rocks. Occasionally, I'm guessing that's a no for a while.
Why?
Because so far everything's been dangerous that we've talked about that's been naturally occurring in the Feywild, so I wasn't sure if picking up rocks was on that list.
In general, I would just use... use your best judgment, Minka. If it seems as if it would be dangerous, evaluate it and come to your best conclusion. But there are fantastic things within the Feywild. It is a wondrous place.
Okay.
Do it, Minka. Do it.
But ooze. It's probably gonna be ooze. Ooze every time.
If it does help you at all, there is no history of ooze or ooze-like creatures in the Summer Dunes.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
There's always a first time.
This is true.
All right,
Come.
let's do this.
He reaches in and he goes, everybody ready? He pulls his hands across and the tree stretches open with a familiar green light. And if you all step through one by one, you pop out on the other side in a very warm, thick tangle of like sort of tall grass. Excuse me. It emerges from orange-white sand, and you can see here and there scattered amongst this grass, there are large volcanic boulders half buried in the sand. You can see these sprawling herbs with thick waxy leaves and tiny yellow flowers that almost look like tulips, which themselves are cupped in larger flowers with these circular yellow petals that come across these boulders on the northern face. You can see that there are pink and purple morning glories that kind of wave in the hot breeze that seem to be growing from the sand itself. And there are palm trees here and there that stand on tube-like roots, like sprawling up, almost like mangroves in a way, that seem to indicate that this place does sink below the tide. And sure enough, as you kind of all pop out onto the beach, you can see that in the shade of these trees, in each one, there is a small tide pool of variable size. You see palm trees, you see ironwoods, and I would say even to those of you who have not been around a lot of nature, you can kind of see that they grow together in such a way and then become very suddenly cleared, and there is a clear path through these things, where there is just sand and here and there a couple of pebbles. Here's some steps down, and you can see at some point in the 7 seconds that it has taken to walk through the tree, his foot gear has changed. He now wears wooden sandals that are elevated on high slats, and he turns and, standing very easily on the top of the sand, says, I will now announce all of your presence. Please follow this path. No other paths. Don't walk into the grass. Don't fly over the grass.
Hey, jeez.
Don't swim in the grass. If this path seems to disappear, don't continue walking. Any other questions? Don't pick up cursed items. Don't pick up soul coins.
Okay, you are bringing us on this mission. Like, you asked, okay, so...
Yeah, so if I recall, you said that Her Royal Flyness likes animals or pets?
Yes, specifically not so much pets, and I would not make it appear as if you own these animals, but if you have things that are unique, that she has not seen before. She, in and of herself, is quite a unique creature. Do you have something in mind?
Candy from the candy shop. Would that be of interest to her?
It may. I don't know.
Do they have to be real?
Pardon me.
Do they have to be real?
Say animals?
Well, what even is real, Minka?
Yeah, because
The
I could
seal
turn into
appears
one, but I don't know
on
if it's
Ori's shoulder.
like. If she wants to keep the animal, then I can't turn into an animal because then I'd have to escape and then somehow still get on the fire. The dragonflies.
I would ask her. I will meet you there. Best of luck. One thing. There are biting insects, apparently, that will appear in clouds. I have not seen them myself. And if you keep good spirits, you will not either. Like many places within the Feywild, it does react to emotion. And this marsh will be as pleasant or as difficult as all of you make it. See you soon.
I'm gonna.
And the little slats rise up and up and up and up, and he just walks over the grass.
Oh.
So he's wearing like wooden sandals on his hooves?
Yep.
Like the biggest of platform shoes.
They're almost like circular, and so like they're not cleft like one to one with his hoof, but they're like circular little clogs. Yeah.
Okay. Alina's jealous. Quietly.
Billy heads over towards Ori before we go through the grass and make a whole big thing about this.
I'm like sitting on the sand, just tying up everything and getting ready for the hot weather, wrapping up my head and stuff.
Okay.
You know, and the bugs, if there are bugs, I don't want any in my mouth.
So far, for what it's worth, very pleasant. There's a slight breeze that is coming off the ocean from the south.
Roll up my sleeves.
You can't see the water, but you can distantly hear it. And there are no real bugs, although actually, here and there, you do see now 1 or 2 dragonflies.
Large ones? Regular ones?
Regular ones.
Suspicious icon
What's-
reappears over Ori's head.
What's up?
I've been thinking on the whole soul coin ordeal.
You mean when you took 2 of them after I had tried to...
When I got us through the Shadowfell expediently, yes. I used them,
Right. I saw that.
and I used them specifically in a transaction.
Yeah.
And if it's not good for us to have them, and it might attract attention, it might be better for the one of us who's already doomed to hold on to them so that no one else is doomed.
Well, see, I haven't made a transaction with them yet, so I don't feel like handing them over to someone who has already stolen from me 2 of these coins, which hold
Technically, it was indirectly stolen.
literal souls. I think I'll hold on to them.
Just trying to help out. You know.
No problem.
I'm walking.
So, if you are walking into this path, could I have a marching order, please?
Somewhere in the middle. I'm very happy.
Okay.
I'm also in the middle.
I guess
Who's leading the
I
way?
guess I can fucking lead the way. If I
Also,
have
thanks to Kara for these great character caddies that we have for weddings.
Yeah.
Who also, actually, hang on, let me pull up just the DM camera. Oh, I left it upstairs.
No.
Kara made me a brand new dice tray, but here's my old one that Kara also made me for our Starfinder campaign that has the GPF logo on it and all these cool things because Kara's the coolest.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. I mean, like, kind of.
I guess yes. Sponsor, but also
With
player and person literally right
I sponsor my time.
You have been promoted
our
to
happiness.
customer. So, for all of you, I just lost. Oh yeah. So thank you for that. Also, so we have Ori leading off. Really? Okay.
Hey, I got a good
He
eyesight.
volunteered.
Ori, you think about your trip through the Shadowfell. You think about that gaping chasm that you almost walked people into. Now's your chance for redemption.
Yeah, fucking right it is.
Go ahead and make a
Billy's in the
survival
back,
check.
just like
I haven't been here in this particular.
You haven't, however, you can make the survival check at advantage. As this path has been cleared away and seems, though it does wave here and there are going to be some eccentric parts to it, it does seem to have been magically cleared and maintained.
All right.
And then go around.
Cool rock check.
Yeah, make a cool rock check, investigation check.
8.
Natural 20.
Very nice. So with an 8, a lot of sand, and insofar that sand has many, many, many cool rocks within it, you pick up like a handful, and there's just like tons of cool things in there. And you realize, like, if you start getting lost right now, there's no coming back. So you put it down and you look for rocks when there's some larger rocks available. For you, with a natural 20, you make your way through the path. And as you do, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of traps. The sand kind of gets a little bit drier and easier to walk through. Doesn't seem to really be the same kind of like wet stuff that the grass was growing in. And slowly it's like the scenery transitions a little bit until it's really mostly ironwood and these kind of mangrove-like palm trees that line the sides. You don't notice too many bugs aside from the occasional dragonfly. And the first leg of this journey goes without issue.
Nice.
Yeah, very different than the last time.
See,
Slowly, the sand becomes damp until in front of you, the path transitions to a little bit more of a marsh-like terrain. There are tall grasses still, but there are off on the sides here and there where those mangrove trees grow up. The tide pools have grown and kind of slowly sunk in and created little marshy areas. And so from there, that is where the reeds grow. And that is where you can hear insects. But Ori, so far, none biting you.
No buggies.
No buggies.
Pretty
Billy, how are you
temperate
feeling?
out here today. It's as good as a marsh can be, I think.
Make a... You know what? Make a charisma saving throw. Yeah.
Much happily. How high would you like it to be? Because I've got a 22.
Like a 10 would have been fine. You managed to keep your emotions not sour. Thinking about how this place can change very rapidly and thinking about the Shadowfell and the rolling thunder and those tendrils of smoke, you really focus on not trying to think too much about being in this sunny place and being led yet again by Ori on a singular path.
This is nice. It's very beautiful.
You can see that the blades of grass here and there have seemed to start to twist around the trees and are growing almost like vines. Alina, you can kind of see this is where the grass has grown up to be a little bit higher than head height, and there is this almost intuitive, like, oh, I could just fly up and look over, but Hearsome has already told you about this stuff.
I keep that shit on lockdown, my dude.
There you go.
No pronk today.
There you go.
I will save my
Would the
pronks.
grass be able to be like cultivated in some way to be utilized?
Make a nature check. Ooh! Suddenly, all of you bump, like step into each other's or stop.
Oh no, I'm still walking, but I'm like kind of looking at it as we pass through it. You know?
19.
Yeah.
With a 19, yes. If you had sandy soil and the correct conditions, you could grow this. In terms of like using it for, I mean, you don't necessarily know how you might do this, but you could definitely see, and you've seen Minka use a spell that's kind of similar, like it grabs people with vines. Probably there is the capacity for someone to use this to make a cool like grabbing grenade or something like that. You have not a clue. That is not in your skill set.
Okay. I need to get some sort of Alfred type person.
But the marsh itself now begins to kind of bleed into the path, and after another 10 minutes or so, it really becomes more of like a bog, and now you're starting to get more of these buzzing gnats, although still they don't seem to bite.
It's getting a little deeper in here, so
Along the sides of the
keep
path,
up the good work, everyone. Good.
on the reeds here and there, you can see these ugly black mud skippers, these little fish that use the suction cups on their mouths to cling to the sides. And as you look at them, they just drop down into the water. And as you follow it with your eyes, you can see it drops into a crystal clear sliver of water. Everything else kind of silty, has picked up sand as it rushes along. This, perfectly clear.
I'm gonna pause for a second. I want to see what's going on with this crystal clear spot.
Okay.
Something
You
odd
pause.
about this.
Deeply suspicious.
And actually, now that you look around, there are definitely more dragonflies here. What are you looking for in particular?
Is this like a weird crystal spot in the water?
So you kind of go over to it. It's about shin deep as the
I'm
water.
not going into the water.
Oh, okay.
I said not to go into the water. I'm looking from there. Is this crystal spot in the water? Is there like something like shiny underneath the water that's like visible?
Make a perception check.
Eye for detail.
That's investigation, right?
Both.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Perception or investigation.
Yeah, go for it.
Ooh,
Hidden is a strong word, but
18.
with an 18, you can kind of look, and from here you stretch and you go up on your tippy toes, and about 20 feet out is this little sliver in the water, and it looks deep. And from where you are, like the water is only shin deep, and it doesn't look like it gets a whole lot deeper based on the reeds that you can see.
I'm not doing it.
That particular piece, almost like glass, that water.
I'm not falling for it. I'm gonna be like, something out there. Keep going.
I wonder how big the frogs are around here.
You haven't seen any frogs.
Seems like frog territory.
Or you push
There's
past
so many
this little glimmer,
dragonflies,
walking
you'd think
around
that they would have some.
on elements of like the dry marsh. And as you walk past that part, about 20 more feet, the grass grows thick. And you can like definitely forge your way through it. But this is almost like the end of this path.
Uh-oh.
Would you say it's suddenly
Sorry, just say that again.
It suddenly ends, huh? So,
It appears to be the end of the path, yes.
When you say the end of the path,
do I see any signs
What's
of
after
the
the
giant dragonflies?
Grass, lots of grass, and you can definitely like continue on, but you will now be foraging into the grasslands. There's no path that has been cleared.
No.
We ain't doing that.
Are there any signs of giant dragonflies or her royal flyness?
With your previous perception check, as you look around, you see out of that little crystal clear part, little dragonfly, and there's like a tiny little drop of water that goes up, and it just appears, and then just kind of joins the rest that are flying around.
Over at the crystal clear water
It
spot?
came out from the crystal clear water spot.
And went to... Oh, shit. Is that where we have to go? Or is that it?
But shit.
Is what it.
So, over the... they said not to go in the water. No, this is
We're not
not...
supposed. He very
Don't go in the
specifically
water,
said
stay on the
no
path.
water.
Use your
Okay.
words.
Okay, maybe you should use a
If
second
it has not come
stone.
to your attention, the path has ended.
Yeah.
And that was one of the emergency situations that...
And when we got into this emergency situation,
Right,
did
but I thought
Pearson tell
that
us to
Pearson
do?
was... He said to stop, which we have done,
Mhm.
and to not follow the path any further. But he also said
And
not to go into the water. So
that's not
we
what
are at
followed
an
that
impasse.
phrase. Alice,
Hello, your royal flyness.
Alice.
You call out, and it just kind of goes across the water.
Ma'am?
He specifically said, "We reached the end of the path.
We can
Don't
animal
go
handling
into
check
the
later.
grass, and we use the rocks. You have the rock."
Oh, do you just
Hmm.
call him then? Just...
How close are we from the end of the path?
From the end of the path, so if you get to the part where it kind of widens and then you can see like marshy water and then a little clear spot, you're in roughly, it's not a circle, but almost like a lopsided 8. This is a big marshy spot, and it is maybe 50 feet wide, and that's where the end of the path, where it becomes like true grasslands and wetlands, is. You had just said something. Oh, sorry, 13. With a 13 for an animal handling check, you call out, "Your royal flyness, ma'am." And 3 dragonflies just land, 2 on your shoulder, 1 on your head. And you just hear Rez go, "Gross. Hey, this is taken." And you can see it just like swats them away.
Don't do that. Wait, come back.
And they just back to like the air.
I think I'm gonna start ritually casting Speak with Animals.
There you go.
I'm just gonna walk up to the end. I think that's a good idea, but I'm just gonna walk up to the end of the path and see if it continues to open up or not.
Don't go in the grass.
I'm not gonna go in the grass.
Billy
I'm
just sits down.
just gonna walk up to like the end of the path and see if anything
don't even
happens
bother
when I
talking.
walk up there.
Why are you
You walk
not
up to the end of
using
the
the
path.
fantasy cell phone to just ask Kirsten what to do next?
Well, we haven't reached the end of the path yet. So
This
I'm
is
just-
Valis standing
I'm
at the
just
end of the path,
I'm just
looking
walking
into
up
the
there.
grass.
Does anything happen when I walk up to it?
It gets a little closer in that you are physically moving closer to it. But similar to Ori, as he walks,
tall
as he
grass.
walked up to the end of it, doesn't seem like anything's really happening.
You hit an invisible
Look,
wall.
nobody wants to call here some less than me, but
It's a load screen to go into the next zone.
Okay. All right.
can you just
I take out the sending stone.
beep?
Here's some.
There's just a brief pause, and then all of a sudden, it's like your little rune just blinks 3 times and then glows brightly, and you hear, "Hello, Valis."
Hello, here's some. It seems we've reached the end of the path we were following.
Excellent. You haven't gone into the water.
Correct.
Okay. So, in the center of this murky-looking puddle, you should see a clear window.
We do see that.
Go into there without touching the muddy parts of the water. You should be able to breathe it without too much trouble. It's uncomfortable as it enters into your lungs the first time, but you'll be fine.
What do we do when we're in there?
Just continue. I'm sorry, have you
well.
never traversed demiplanes before?
No.
Oh, well, when you enter into this window, just continue forward. Gravity will do its own thing. Don't worry too much about it, and you will suddenly find yourself going up.
Okay. And do we?
And then what?
You don't hear the half.
Yeah, you're not hearing anything.
Oh, is it just in it?
You
Oh, I'm
only
sorry.
hear-
I
You
missed.
only hear the Valis side.
when we're going up,
sorry.
do we?
I don't do that.
Will there be a different path? Will the path be obvious for us to follow when we're going up, or?
When you exit the other side, you will enter into the Glimmer Den, and there is really only one place that there is for you to go, and just come.
Very well. Thank you, Ursum.
Little room goes
What
dark.
did he say?
He said to go into the crystal part of the water without touching the muddy parts, and then something about we'll transfer demiplanes and we're gonna go up, and then after that there should be only one way to go.
All
I
right.
don't.
Well,
How far away is the clear part from?
20 feet away.
20 feet away.
Yeah.
So it looks like the tricky part is
It's
gonna be.
Bronkin time.
Wait, is there any tall grass nearby?
Tall grass surrounds the edges, and so you get the sense that you could probably fly to the middle very easily, but that grass stuff will start. And so if you were going to do that as a trick, you probably want to be the last person to go.
Oh, I meant literal prunk. Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
You can absolutely, definitely. I mean, absolutely, definitely. You can try.
are there like any things sticking out of the marsh from the crystal part to where we are that we could like hop across, like rocks sticking out?
You don't see any like little stepping stones or
old
anything. Make a
dead
perception
stumps or
check. There
something.
might be places that are so shallow that you could step down. It's very murky water.
24.
And here and there, you can see little patches of the grass does grow slightly higher. And so those are areas that might be a little bit more elevated. You would still be like a half inch in deep water, probably at least. But you could try it.
You said it's 20 feet of murky water, so it's coast, like shoreline, 20 feet murky water, crystal clear.
Shoreline, 20 feet crystal. Yeah.
Billy just kind of looks around and says, well, see you on the other side. And Misty steps over the crystal
There you
water.
go.
As you fall in, I'll yell, "Oh, he said that you can breathe it."
Splash. And you splash straight through. Billy. You drop down into this water instantly. It's almost exactly the same temperature as the air. The little bits of water that your fingers touch on like the edges, cold like it ought to be, and the rest is just almost completely perfectly the same temperature. Suddenly, as you drop down, your momentum shifts and you are floating up, and your head swings around to take the place of where your feet are, and you emerge out of a crystal clear pool. And from within, there seems to be some kind of luminous glow, and directly in front of you, you can see a woodsy aisle, only maybe like a couple 100 feet wide, and then vanishes back and into darkness. But you can see there are thousands of dragonflies here, all like flying over top, landing into the thick carpet of moss that kind of floats on the shallower parts of the water here. It is warm, and Billy, as you pop out of the water, you are now standing in a place where it is only several inches deep, and where you stand on the moss, tiny little flowers just bloom up around your feet.
Oh, that's nice.
I look to the rest of the party. Does anyone need help getting to that spot?
It hasn't been 10 minutes yet.
Yeah, it's been
Okay.
10 minutes.
Okay, good.
Billy just disappears, and you're like, bam, done.
Oh, okay. Well,
I all know how it feels.
oh, that's fine. I could turn into a frog.
You
But then
shouldn't
you have
go
to get in the water.
No,
You can just jump across. Oh, right. Well, I guess.
I mean it's a pretty sizable frog.
So what can you do for me?
I like the idea of turning into a regular size frog and somebody just chucks you into the frog. That's really what I thought you were going to do for a second. Wow.
Oh, I thought
I
that was
can potentially, I can
Throw me.
thunderstep someone over there, but it's really loud. And this
Maybe
place
we'll do
is-
that last. Ori, are you ready?
What are you? Yeah.
I'm gonna send you over there.
All right. I'll just let me hold my breath.
Oh, it should be necessary. He said it was.
Yeah, but I want to have some for the transition.
And you're like, straight down, and you suck up the water, and as you do, it floods in, and you can breathe it. It's totally normal. It's almost like you just inhale like a little bubble of something, but it doesn't actually go down. And it's like that hot kind of like you just gulped air and it just kind of moves down. And your directionality flips and you just burst up from the water right next to Billy, and then find your feet on soft grass, which just blooms tiny flowers at your feet.
The rest of us should be along shortly.
Billy is covered in dragonflies.
You should have wrapped your face.
And they're like starting to land on you now as well, Hurry.
Josh,
Oh, I'm gonna keep my face wrapped
I can
still.
levitate you
go.
across if you need
Who's
it,
next?
please. Okay. So I touch Cheshire and cast levitate on her, so she can just kind of float and then drop when she's ready.
Up 1 inch,
Yep.
float across, right down, and then just right up next to both of you.
Okay. Does anyone else need one? You good?
You good? I'm gonna-
Are you two thunderstepping?
Oh,
Or are you two?
I'd rather not do thunderstep. I can just, I mean, like flying, but not flying, just like doing a hover like that.
I could just
Yeah.
I
we'll
can
have-
frog hop. So
Okay.
if you guys need a levitate,
I mean, I don't want you to have to use a spell slot.
I mean it's up to you guys.
I only have 2, but no. I'm just gonna.
Only have
I should
2,
be fine by
huh?
myself.
Yeah.
Wow.
I face step over there.
You face step over and just splash down, and your armor yanks you through. Valis pops like a foot up into the other side and just lands. The flowers about an inch longer as they burst up and seem to almost be like projected out. But Valis is there as well. The dragonflies from all of you like away and then start to land again.
You good?
Cover your mouth.
All right.
Turn to a giant frog.
Okay.
Whoa.
They can just into this big blue frog. And when it ribbons, just little stars.
So a giant frog has a standing leap of 20 feet.
Yeah.
So she's gonna go like shuffle to like the edge of the water, not touching it, and then go whoop.
So Minka just leaps, and you can see this like very large. For Minka, who is usually like wispy cloth and like all this stuff, it's this like big blubbery version of Minka, and then just just off into the air and splashes in. And for all of you, suddenly, only I believe Valis saw. No, none of you saw this happen. Suddenly, a very clearly Minka frog bursts out of the water and down onto the wet moss. No little flowers grow because it seems to only affect humanoids, for what it's worth.
I think I'm the last one, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I do like a little mini baby pronk, meaning I'm just levitating like an inch off the ground.
No problem.
And down.
Baby pronk, and as you do, you can hear behind you like the wind is blowing, even though you feel no wind on your skin, and you can hear the beginning of like the grass rustling, and then you just splash. No. And just pop up from the other side. And all of you have made your way to the Glimmer Den.
Really has like a full mummy suit of dragonflies.
Oh, hey, girl. Nice look.
You are now in the Glimmer Den. This beautiful kind of carpet of moss spreads out in front of you, and you can see there are a few trees that kind of create almost like a dark forest on this island. As you are all gathered here and you kind of look, every now and then you can kind of see almost like there are fireflies, although you've seen none, these little of pink light that pulse amongst the tree. And they just kind of fade back and back and back. What do you all want to do?
Is the path as obvious as Hearsome said it was going to be?
No. It was obvious to this point, and then this is a little bit less clear.
So what?
I croak.
The fireflies all take off into the air, and suddenly your sending stone glows. I see you've all arrived, or here. Just continue straight into the woods.
Is it Hearsome?
Yes. He says to continue straight into the woods. I look around. Are there woods?
All that there is. It is just so if you look out, you can see like a little circle of water behind you, and then it just abruptly ends. And it doesn't end like, oh, and there's ground. There is just this purple kind of, it almost looks like a waterfall of fog that is just continuously cascading. And there is just nothing beyond that you could see. Maybe you can reach beyond, but you can't see anything. And then to the north, you can see this dark forest that is on the island itself. And I would say maybe only 600 or 700 feet away, more of those luminous clouds. And so this space, this demiplane, very small. It is literally just this island, and the island is only a couple hundred feet wide.
Okay, but you said there's woods to the north?
Correct.
Very well. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Put the rune stone away, and you can begin to walk into the woods.
Cute. Look
How?
You're staying in the frog.
I'm staying as a frog.
I don't want to waste it. Like,
I don't want to waste it, and I want to see what the reaction is to a big blue frog.
Yeah, she does like
oh, right, because
animals.
yeah.
I
You
have
make
to
your
speak with
way.
animals.
Into the forest, and there are thousands of dragonflies here and very little else in terms of flora and fauna. I would say yeah, I mean that's primarily what you were seeing, unless anybody's looking specifically for something else to talk to.
Are there any
Her
other creatures
lady-
to talk to?
That's kind of what I'm
her
saying.
royal
was their-
flyness.
You don't see any that appear especially different.
Especially royal.
Especially royal,
None of
especially
them are
fly.
wearing a little crown.
They're all equally fly.
Looking for the largest dragonfly. wearing
But
a
after
crown.
walking only for like a couple of minutes, you notice that these pink pulses are drawing closer and closer together, and you realize that it's almost like you are being drawn into the center of this forest. And as you reach the point where they seem to converge, you clear the tree line and you emerge into this little clearing. It is entirely moss. If you imagine like a huge 60-foot large moss beanbag, that's not too far off what this is, like a huge soft spot. There are dragonflies of all different colors around here, but in the center, almost certainly, Gliza Shamara and Hearsome is standing right next to them. There is a massive dragonfly of pink and gold, probably about 12 feet long, but when you get to the part that would be kind of the area where the head would be, it abruptly transitions into the upper torso of a humanoid woman, complete with the face and arms. You can see pink hair, the ears to appear, she doesn't have ears, they appear to instead be the wings of dragonflies that flutter softly behind her. and you can see her neck is clad in a collar of stiff leather festooned with golden scarabs that still kind of like skitter and move. They're definitely alive, but are serving as ornamentation. If you think like Jack Skellington and his little spider tie, very similar to that. They have soft pink eyes that shine from softer, pale skin, and they regard you from their spot over there. Hearson, for his part, turns and just says, "May I introduce to you Her Royal Flyness, the Wandering Hearts, Ori from the Magiocracy of the Rising Storm, Valis from Points Beyond, Cheshire. I don't believe I actually know where you're from."
Here, there, everywhere.
Ah, yes, a traveler like many of us. Billy and Alina both hail from Thornholm, I believe, and then Minka, who comes from a quieter part of town. Interestingly enough, this individual turns and looking to you. For all of you, almost seems like a soft, vibrating ribbit, but you hear absolutely perfect common. And they say, "It's a delight to meet a daughter of Melora." And she just slightly inclines her head. She turns and looks at all of you and says, in common, "Hearson tells me that you require some of my dragonflies to ferry you across. I'm happy to provide this service for all of you, on the condition that one of you can show me something I haven't seen before." So, again, in your exact language, she says, "I've seen frogs before."
What haven't you seen?
She turns to you and the wings lift her up, and she doesn't move like a normal dragonfly that is like graceful and straight. Because of how large the body is, it like curves, and you can see at this scale, dragonflies are actually quite leathery, but like flutters over to you and the wind like blows back and just lands. And she bends down the whole like upper body over you and just goes, "Well, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know."
Alina is going to kind of like adjust her ring of pyrotechnics and then like pew, and it's like fireworks, but you know how like the really fancy fireworks are like in shapes, you know, and it's like a flag or a star or whatever. And so Alina shoots off like a perfect replica of like the Emerald Spire like skyline.
Okay.
And it's like shining and like in like shades of pink and green and blue and like and it's really good.
Make a performance check.
Yeah.
I think it's
Accentuating with
drops.
minor illusion after picking up on that.
Okay, make it an advantage.
Hell
as
yeah.
You are being helped by minor illusion. And what are you doing?
I just dropped 4 because I'm like, oh,
I got you.
it's worth a shot.
Performance, you said?
Yeah.
13.
13. So with a 13, you visualize the skyline and you get like the kids like crayon version of it, and it's like people will definitely recognize it. It's not spectacular.
Bet you haven't seen that before. A really crappy version of that.
She smiles and she says, "Lara," and one of these little dragonflies disappears behind the woods, and then you hear much harder, and this tiny dragonfly lugs out of the woods a magic wand and just like struggling over, pulls it to Her Royal Flyness, who with delicate fingers takes it and just ting, and uses this wand of fireworks to create a much better display.
Oh no.
Can I at least learn from it?
Billy leans down.
If you would like to play with it, you can. And she
Oh no,
gives you-
that was Hannah asking.
Oh, okay.
Like, can I? Is there something about the technique that, like, next time I can use to, like?
It's an uncommon magic item.
I don't know if that
Yeah.
counts as showing or something though.
Oh, wait, get that on the show.
Have you seen an Ina Kamudi?
Not in a very long time. Have you brought one?
No, but I can make a facsimile of one. I know it's not,
Not
the
the
same.
same.
Have you
seen cyanobacteria?
I thought you used it all.
I still have some.
Oh.
I'm not familiar with this word.
This So I pull out one of the vials that I have with the pond or the lake scum. Essentially.
We call that pond scum.
It sucks out all of the air.
I know what it does because we call it pond scum.
I have some candy from a candy shop in the Emerald Spire. This one, if you eat it, it will turn your skin bark for 10 minutes. Purely a cosmetic effect, but have you seen this before?
So Ori, and it like almost like blows you away, and she just shuffles like 3 feet over and in front of Alice, and reaches over and with the fingers delicately plucks this out and just goes, "I do love sweets, but this, I can make my skin like this if I want."
Like candy?
Like bark, but I suppose like candy as well. Although I have not tried.
Well, if you like, that is for you.
Thank you. And she takes it and just disappears. At this, Rez goes, "Alina, I smell something. There's chocolate here."
Really?
Yeah. Good chocolate, like magic chocolate.
Billy uses disguise self to turn into a perfect facsimile of Cheshire. And then minor illusions the image of a cow floating in air on a balloon string.
Have you
So
ever
here's
heard
some-
the story of an elf who turned into a cow?
You can hear someone's trying to cut you guys off, and then he just goes, "I should probably have told you, Her Royal Flyness has true sight, and so you're just standing there. But I will say, that is a lovely cow."
How do you enjoy, like, shows?
You can see, she says, "Well, believe it or not, we don't have much entertainment here."
Billy,
Well,
like,
if I
was
got a
a
story for
time.
you.
Billy goes rummaging through her stuff and, like,
Launch into the rendition of the cow Ori story
Okay, make a performance check.
and how he turned into a balloon and floated away.
Billy will provide backup.
Guidance, if that helps.
Make a performance check, take guidance, and make it an advantage as Billy is helping. Billy takes out the flute.
Wait, are you doing
backup
something?
flute.
Oh no.
Or are you just lamenting at this story?
Just lamenting.
Okay.
the story.
He's just being sad.
He's providing weight
I have
and
my eye
truth
on
to
you
the
right
story.
29.
29. So you launch into Ori the Oblivious. This tale about Ori who just is I mean, it's a pretty, honestly, it started as making fun of Ori, and then you're like, oh, I'm really just kind of a biographer. He wandered ahead and lost his head, just all kinds of stuff. And you have a great performance, and she seems to genuinely enjoy it. She turns at the end of it and goes, "And you're Ori of the Magiocracy.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this?"
I try not to let it bother me. I don't associate with the Magiocracy terribly much these days.
She looks at you and then hears some from over her shoulder goes, "Ah, you haven't seen that before." And she looks at you and she says, "You can't do any magic."
That wasn't makeup, that was just me.
She draws back a little bit and she says, "Can you?"
To the best of my knowledge, no.
And she just kind of like draws back and goes back to where Hearsome is. You can see she passes a bag to Hearsome, who just tucks it back in his pocket. Well, wandering hearts, we can make our way. And you can see she just like glares at Hearsome from over there, and she says, and he says, "It will be a little bit of a flight, approximately 2 hours, and we should probably practice first." To which Her Royal Flyness says, "There is no need, unless all of you mess up. My dragonflies will carry you safely." So Hearsome turns and says, "It's up to all of you. Would you like to take some time to practice?"
Yes.
Very well.
Oh,
Thank
I was
you, Your
about to
Royal
be like,
Flyness. And he just gives this like, Hearsome gives this little half bow, and you can see Her Royal Flyness just goes this little, And then he just happily makes his way off. You hear the sound of like little glass bottles clinking together in this bag that he was given. But no problem, you make your way off and a little bit further into the forest until you come to a clearing where there are large dragonflies. There are about 13 or 14 huge dragonflies, about 14 feet long, similar in length to her royal Flyness herself. These do not have humanoid bodies, very much just dragonflies.
Hey, what's up?
So you, there are 13 or 14 dragonflies here, and if you are going to take about an hour to really like take some time and practice, you don't need to take any kind of checks to bond with these creatures. You take the time to actually do this correctly, and each of you comes away with a giant dragonfly. You can choose your color.
Pink.
Pink. There you go.
I'm getting strong Skeeter vibes from this.
I know, I'm gonna,
Purple for Alina.
The closest one.
Also green. So each of you ends up with a giant dragonfly of the color that you would want. And for what it's worth, as you are like experimenting on these, they can definitely easily hold each of you. With great difficulty, they could probably hold two of you if they had to, for what it's worth.
What about one of us and a small creature?
With moderate to, I mean,
Like
harder than with just one.
like some small sort of bird or something.
Birds have
I don't
light
know.
bones.
Like
Also,
a mouse.
birds can fly.
Birds have light
Put a mouse in my pocket. I don't know.
I think you'll probably be okay.
Okay, cool. It's good to keep in mind.
Right.
The entire time that you are all doing this, you can see
I see the thought
Kirsten
process.
is doing little bits you would recognize of druidcraft to create a couch out of the little reeds and kind of like slowly weave it into a cushion. And he is getting very comfy as you are all doing this. But after the hour passes and you all seem to have gotten a pretty good handle on these, Hirsum says, so you are all now to go across there. And he points, and like, if you look over the trees to where the water kind of like, really is the only place where you can see water amongst these kind of weird little clouds, you imagine would be roughly where you emerged into this demiplane from. He says, you can bypass the grass. These dragonflies should be able to get you high enough, quick enough, where it will not cause you issue. You are to go south, and then ever so slightly to the west, until you reach a wall of vertical water upon which a ship is forever wrecked. You can cross through the ship to get close to the isle where you need to go. Are there any questions?
Up the
Through the
waterfall, through the ship, to the isle.
How do you go through a ship to get to where we need to go?
Have none of you ever been on a curved ocean before?
No.
Have I been on a curved ocean?
You should have hired people who've been on a curved
Have-
ocean if that's what
Have we been on?
You came highly recommended, Alina, but
Has any
I'll talk to Sir
Have
Enos
any
about
of
this.
us been on a curved ocean?
None of you have been on a curved ocean. No, that's like a
Billy's
pretty
first
weird
time
thing.
on an ocean was a couple of days ago.
That was the lake.
Alina's still trying to figure out how they're gonna know for sure which way is south and slightly west.
That is a really good question. So he looks at all of your confusion and says, imagine, if you will, a tremendous wave, so large that you cannot see the end of it on either side, and this is what a curved ocean is. It curves and turns. This ship that is trapped, it is in 3 different planes at once. In fact, if you want a more expedient way back to the material plane, a portion of this emerges into the Remember Me drift, just a bit closer to the Magiocracy.
How do
Where's
we
the
make
other
sure
part?
that we're in?
You've been there.
Who are we talking to right now?
Here's some.
Alright, so the ship is in 3 planes. The material, the plane we're in now, and...
This is a demi-plane, but yes.
Okay. And what's the 3rd plane is the place we've been, you said?
Yes. The Shadowfell.
Okay. So when we're on the ship, which other plane do we want to go to?
Well, I'm simply saying. You can see, he says, this would be so much easier if any of you have done. Have any of you been to the Astral Sea?
Have we?
No.
The what?
Just assume the answer's
You all just really stick to the one plane.
Mostly stuck to the one town for a while.
That's very boring.
I went
Look
in and
at the
out
bright
of the
side.
Feywild.
If you look at the bright side, after this
All the
adventure,
time.
you'll have wandering hearts who have been to the Astral Sea.
This is, well, not to the Astral Sea. The Astral Sea is just beyond the Astral Eclipse.
Of course.
Don't underestimate us. We found a way into the Shadowfell.
And you might again. Be cautious when you are aboard the ship.
So where are we going to when we are on the ship?
Hold
Into
on.
the
Why be
isle.
cautious? Why?
Well, because of the Shadowfell.
We might go through accidentally.
Right, so we
Because
When the ship was struck, the spell that struck it shattered reality along this point. And so the ship is simultaneously in these three places at once.
The demi-plane, the Shadowfell, and the material?
Yes.
Right.
He's really just a liability.
I'm the one who got us.
I have a question, and I'm sorry for having been rude before. I'm just, feeling a little disoriented.
It's easy to be overwhelmed.
Yeah, exactly. So if we're gonna just back up for a second, you said south and slightly west.
Yes.
Do you have any advice on how we can make sure we're going in the correct direction? I mean, because I imagine Alina is used to moss on trees and
Sure.
So she looks around and there's nothing, right? And so she's like, any advice there?
You don't just know.
Does she just know?
No.
No, I don't have that particular skill.
He looks around at all of you.
Have you compasses?
any of us?
Maybe if you had.
If one of you has a compass,
Oh, I think I do. I have my
Do I have a magnet and
my,
a needle to do the thing for you?
fucking
does
adventures.
compass work in a place that has no magnetic north? Billy doesn't know this.
Alberon does have a magnetic north.
Alberon has a magnetic north. We are not in Alberon.
You're a demiplane.
Maybe you could just come with us.
Is there a landmark?
A landmark. This ship, the only man-made object in this vertical wave, is the landmark.
Before that.
We really are.
The Vulture Channel is an ocean,
No, we're
and if you see anything emerging from the water, I would avoid it.
But he said he was going to tell us
What's
certain
it called
news.
again?
It's the Vulture Channel.
The
That's fine, I don't
Vulture.
care.
I know, but I gotta suck up a little bit.
Okay.
Do you have a compass, Ori?
Yeah.
Does the compass work? Can we look at it?
Does it work?
You take out the compass, and it has a direction that is pointing north.
What? Turn it.
If you turn so that the needle lines up north, it is pointing north.
Cool.
No, rotate.
No, does it
rotate.
stay
Yeah.
Well, if I'm
is it
it's
working?
rotating
It is-
and it's staying.
Again,
Needle stays where it
The
is.
needle is staying where it is, no matter which way you.
So it
seems to
has
be
a
working.
magnetic
Okay,
north.
alright.
Well,
Good
okay,
to go.
let's just double check. The way this needle is pointing, is that actually north?
Make a survival
That's
check,
how-
Ori.
No, I'm asking Hearson.
Oh,
I'm asking Hearson. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
I don't. Again, I know which. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, this is north.
So now we know. Now we know which way south is.
Yes.
That's all. Okay.
Sorry. That confused me because very technically, I know that Hearson has not used a compass before, and so, but
No.
you.
He
do
knows.
not know.
He knows north. So the question was.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Calibration time.
Yes, it's calibration.
Okay, so we're good to go.
We are good to go. Okay.
And as
wait.
a backup, when we leave the demiplane, the path that we came in, is it still going to be there?
Yes. You should always be able to get back here if you
Okay.
wish.
What direction does that path go away from the crystal piece of water?
Back the way that you came.
Which directional? North, east, south, west?
To the south?
South.
Yes.
The path goes to the south.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, that way, just in case the compass explodes or something, we have at least another way to orient.
Honestly, knowing us, that's not that unlikely.
Will we be returning Her Lady Flyness's dragonflies afterwards, or will they just leave us there? Will we be able to use them to get back?
I'm honestly not sure.
Maybe we should have asked.
I could ask the dragonfly.
Seeing as, I mean, yeah, you definitely can if you want. Yeah.
Excuse me. When you drop us off where we're going, are you gonna wait for us there, or are you gonna come home?
We're gonna come home.
Okay. Is there any chance that you could wait for a little bit and then go home, or are you gonna just immediately go home?
Make an animal handling check.
Kenny keeps a meter running.
We're going.
9.
We're gonna go home.
Okay, they're gonna go home.
We'll tip 30%.
During all the distraction, Billy's gonna try and pickpocket Ori for the
I'm
snow
always on guard.
For which?
You're on guard for her, not for
Make
You're on
a
guard for.
make a sleight of hand check.
That's like ultraviolet level. That's like level orange or red.
22.
What's your passive perception?
My passive perception? Fuck.
I don't think it's 22.
No, I think it's 19. Yeah, it's 19.
19. Billy, you can add 2 soul coins to your inventory.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Just the 2?
Everyone's just stealing souls. Fuck you guys.
You're the one being stingy and holding on to it.
Because I want to find
Says the person holding 7.
Because I was trying to be responsible and keep
Not
them
3.
all.
I thought there were 7 total minus
There are 7 total.
I have
minus
I
the 2,
still
so
have
he has
4. No,
has
I still
3
have
now.
3.
3. Okay.
So, a question for Harrison. So, are the dragonflies dropping us off on the ship, or are they staying with us as we traverse through the ship?
They're dropping you off on the ship unless there's some other arrangement that Minka is making.
No.
And what do we do again when we're on the ship?
So once you are on the ship, if you look to the east, you will see this volcanic island. It is very close, but you will be able to walk across the portion of the waves that are not moving for the most part. There are, of course, animals that live within the ocean, like any ocean.
When you say walk across the waves, is this magical water that will hold anyone? Or do we need to be able to walk on water?
It's magical water that, as far as I know, will hold anyone. I have not seen anyone fall through.
Alright, on ship, east, walk towards volcano, on water.
That about sums it up. Now, I would come up with a plan before you reach the actual volcano, but that is, of course, up to
Still
you.
need to find something for the incredible heat and fire.
Do you remember when we were in the Emerald Spire?
I had said, and you said that if there
Do
was
you remember
something you would
right
tell
at the end where I said, does anybody else want to go shopping again? And she almost spit out her drink because it's so funny because it was the 5th time that I asked.
Well, I had asked him, and he had said, you already asked for that, and we said no, so I didn't ask for it again because he said if I had
he was
anything
really
for fire
fucky, and he was like,
resistance-
if I could have gotten that for
if
you, I would have done it.
So
Listen, I have a whopping 3 gold.
I have 0.
Okay, but he keeps, admittedly, I mean, every time we ask him for money, he's like, oh no.
Yeah, I mean, he gives you money and he gives you the stuff that he has available to him, but if he does not physically possess an item, he
I thought
cannot
that
give
meant
it to
that
you.
like he didn't even give us a lead.
Listen,
for one.
we will eventually crack the code of
We'll get
we're
it, we'll
asking
get
for
it.
help when we need it, but for now, we are currently
That's fine.
on fire.
So it basically, from what you have all observed, if he can help you, and what Billy's insight check would pretty clearly back up, he is going to give you the help that he can.
Yeah.
He's also going to finance things when you ask if he can. If he knows where things are, he is specifically looking to try to tell you where they are.
Does anyone else feel like they're in trouble and like in the principal's office right now?
I'm just trying to explain that I feel like he's trying to do all these things, and then later you guys are like, hey, remember those things you asked me about? Can we do them now?
He's also mean.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Or everybody get your new character ready.
Yes.
I'm just gonna
Always.
work on my fire resistance. But
Just go. Think cold thoughts.
I mean,
I have an amulet of fickle cold.
I'm gonna
I have
rub my arms really
spells.
fast to generate heat.
So, for what it's worth, there is a non-zero chance that if you just get real sad, it could help you out, actually, because it's the Feywild and emotions do things.
That's true.
Billy's just gonna start making fun of Ori.
Dead babies, dead babies.
You just have to really shit on Ori the whole time,
was like,
and
we'll
that will
figure
be
it out.
constructive for once.
Wait, okay, so we do need a plan. So our choices are like stealth in or just go up to the front door.
Right, and none of us speak giant, so
Does anyone have a solution for that?
speaking
Or
giant.
speak giant?
Understand giants.
Same.
right. So any chance of actually communicating with them, that doesn't really matter, unless you could write it down quick enough.
So stealth it is then.
But for what purpose? Are we looking for
Okay.
Rather
the
We gotta
the giant without the left ear? So
We gotta go in, find the giant without the left ear, convince him to help us, and then Bob's your uncle.
We just have to remove them from the situation.
I don't think it's
We
gonna
still
be.
need to be able to communicate.
I don't know.
Right.
Kill everyone?
I don't think it's gonna be convincing
And when that
him to help
doesn't
us.
work,
I think it's
what's
gonna be
plan C?
convincing.
Roll new characters.
I do not have an uncle.
Thank you, Harrison. Noted.
Well,
I think we mentioned this before, and I'm not sure if we have a solution for this. But do you have anything that can help us communicate with the fire giants?
Regrettably,
Us
no.
two? Okay.
yeah, we didn't really find anything either.
Right. Well, you can comprehend.
I did like your translator idea. That was a good one.
Would there be any?
Here's some. Are you able to make spell scrolls?
With enough time, yes.
You have time to make one.
Which one?
I've heard there's a spell that lets you speak different languages.
Yes.
Can you make that one?
Look up his spell list real quick.
Why did I decide to keep comprehend languages instead of swapping out for tongues? I actively thought about it and made a decision.
I can, in fact.
How long would that take?
If you give me, I believe it's 3 hours. For him. Give me 1 second here.
I should have asked before the practice session.
I mean, he would have said no, actually, to make the couch. But
To make the couch.
Yeah, he was making a couch.
He was,
yes, there's enough clay around here where I should be able to craft one in about 3 hours.
That would probably help us communicate with the giant we have to.
Very well.
thanks.
He goes over to his couch, and you can see he scoops some sand up and begins to get to work.
Okay, so while he's working, let's, all get on board with the plan. Don't go anywhere. Joshua, you're part of this.
Right.
So,
So if we have...
go.
They probably
No,
have big
you have a habit.
coins in
Okay.
a giant's castle. Usually it's giant
It's
size.
all on fire. This sounds like a terrible idea.
How's gold on fire?
He can make us spell scrolls. Maybe he can make one that'll help with the fire resistance.
No, he
I'll just
already
keep it on
told us
fire.
no. It's
No, and what?
pretty rude.
But in a volcano.
No.
He doesn't have any kind of fire resistant spells, but he does have tongues.
Could get a
okay, so
So
I have the ability to make us more sneaky. I can help one person absorb fire for a little bit.
Alright.
I can revive someone when they inevitably fall. I can make a big storm of water.
Oh.
I can sneak in pretty good, I would guess.
Okay, mechanics question. If we are wet, will that help?
Fade to black. No. Sorry, if you are wet, will it help with what? I was reading something. Sorry.
Not being on fire?
So,
For like,
Get your minds out of the gutter.
for like,
really, no. I don't know.
No.
I love where your mind's at, but no.
I'm just checking.
just
She
gotta-
said she had a water spell. I don't know.
No.
Video games, if you
Yeah.
We had endless.
video
If we
games.
had a jar of endless water,
Yeah.
then
In
probably.
Baldur's
So
Gate,
we could just
if you
pour it.
throw water at Karlak, you can kiss her.
This isn't a video game.
So why?
That's a D&D
This is
game.
real life.
Lava's sitting there like 2,000 degrees when it's like above ground, and so you're just sublimating the water when it's like within 2 feet of the lava.
It's like
itself.
the,
Yeah.
Okay,
It's really fun if you like fling a Pop Tart over lava though. It just lights on fire.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
children
I
at
mean,
home,
yes,
if
that
you
will
are
happen.
when it does make things easier.
So,
Generally
those I can also theoretically
My turn.
tomorrow make a big earthquake,
Advice
and
from
maybe
Mel.
that'll just set the volcano off, and maybe they'll be upset and go home.
The captain starts chuckling from the couch, and he says, "I believe they're resistant to the damage that would cause, but I like where your head's at, Minka. That is a creative solution, and not entirely without merit. There might be something there."
oh, okay, that seems a bit.
If we make the
about
volcano,
that idea about them going home. I suspect there was a reason why they left their home.
yes,
And I think if we were to pursue a diplomatic route, then perhaps convincing them that we can help them get back their home. Might.
Can we do that?
Now
And
we're
do
just
we want to do
substituting
that?
one quest for another, and there's gonna be more fire.
but it won't be inside an active volcano. Hopefully,
And it doesn't involve fighting fire giants.
there's a,
Why did we agree
I would-
with this?
wasn't like 14 fire giants.
Yeah.
I would rather not fight 14. I would rather not fight one fire giant, but let alone 14.
Kirsten at this is like halfway done with this, and he's just like, "Wait. So did we come all the way here? Did I call Gliza, her royal flyness, to her face just to potentially turn around and go after something else?"
No.
We're gonna go there.
But for the record, I had not want. Never mind.
Okay.
But also, I mean,
He goes
saying
back to,
her
like,
royal
working.
flyness out loud, doesn't really seem like
It's
you were giving
a
much
stupid title.
the dragonfly's ears. She's like, no.
Earmuffs.
So, the giant with no left ear. He's gonna help us out, yes?
Well,
Maybe he
that's
wants to
what we
help us out so that he can be in charge. You throw a little bit of dissent.
Well, these
It's
are
not
all
gonna help us
speculations that we can consider, but
But if we're
We
going to
aren't
be
gonna
in there
know.
for a little bit of time, we can at least comprehend what they are saying and gather information. Use that information to talk with the one giant with our tongues.
Okay,
And then use that information to get somebody on our side
I have
to
an
kill
idea.
the other ones.
Tongues! And he just holds up the scroll.
Thank you.
Gives it to you.
I have a weird idea, but I just want to throw it out there.
Go for it.
What if we just like make their old home like better again by just resowing the whole forest?
that would
Is that the-
nice?
Do we know that to be the reason why they left their own
That
home?
would
Isn't
take.
their old home
a
on like another
while.
continent?
No, wasn't it where the army is? And that's
yeah.
and they left their old home because their
But
it
that
was on
means that
fire.
we will have to
and-
fight
Billy,
the army.
I would say that you are the most familiar with the geography of that region, and you know that and you had kind of heard and put together with that information and what you heard about like potentially where the fire giants may have come from. There is a landmass that is called the Tongue of Fire. It is a sort of land bridge that smolders and burns and is very much like a volcanic chain that connects sort of the northern tip of Everest and Gath/Ganon, the ancestral land of the dragons.
Are you suspecting that that's used to be the home of the fire giant?
Is that what I'm suspecting?
It's volcanic area, and so like if that's where they tend to make their homes, that's the only real place in this region that they might be.
I mean, it's the only other place in the region they might be.
What was it called again? The
tongues of fire. And there is, for what it's worth, a dragon there. So we could potentially just offer to kill the dragon, which we already know is there.
So
You guys heard a little bit about the Tongue of Fire in campaign 1 too.
or
Instead of fighting
Deadly
fire dragons,
dragon.
we'll just go fight a dragon.
But
fire giants?
We could enlist
But
the
we
fire
won't be in
giants
an
to
active
help
volcano.
in fighting the fire giant.
but if they
Or maybe
could
we
fight the
just jump
dragon,
into
wouldn't they
the
have
lava
done so?
right now and
That's a good point.
solve all of these problems?
Okay. Regardless, I mean, it does seem like every plan does kind of point toward finding the one with no ear and gaining his trust.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Let's end.
I just remembered, says Helena, that Rez is fireproof. And
Hi.
what?
He just says hi.
Hi. I have this super cool new ability where I can speak in my voice through him. And he can go as far away from me as we want now. It doesn't have to be within 100 feet. And we could cast tongues on him, send him in. He can be invisible until he finds the guy. Go talk to the guy, and then see if we can get his ear, and then we don't have to get set on fire.
Alina, I could pretend to be a voice in his mind, and then we could convince him to do anything.
We really want to send Rez in.
I don't think
Assuming
that's
I
the
didn't
best
hear that.
idea.
No, that's in.
That's a great idea.
But Rez going in first seemed like a bad idea.
I don't think
I don't
want to
know
put
if that's
There's so many
let's
a
workshop
lot
it.
of faith
Okay.
in
How do we get his ear?
your
Girl.
familiar.
Girl, what?
What if they
just
have
saying.
chocolate there? It's all over. There's.
Also,
In the
I don't think I want to.
Volcano?
I mean, this is just a speculation,
Why
but
are we
I don't
casting
really think that I want to put such a heavy burden on dear
because the res is going to
Rez.
translate
So
what you say.
again,
Alright.
it's it's me talking. All Rez has to do
Right.
is find the guy.
So wouldn't you have to have the tongues on you?
Oh yeah.
I
I
mean,
think it
Right.
would.
not necessarily.
I don't know what Joe's not going to tell us.
Not necessarily, because
You have to do it on both.
Let me look up.
No,
the-
so tongues is on a creature you can touch, and so if you want, you could touch Rez. Rez would be the one that would both understand and speak, and so you would be trusting Rez's translation.
but I want to use the feature that lets me talk through him, so that would need to be my
Otherwise, you're just talking in your voice, and then you're not going to be able to tell him. So it's
voice
gonna
of the
be-
chain.
Billy's gonna hop on a dragonfly. It's like we're losing valuable time, and
wait,
we
just-
can do this as we travel.
No, I don't. wanna
Voice of the
plan
Chain
while we're-
Master is you can communicate telepathically with your familiar and perceive through your familiar's senses. I would imagine that you would just hear giant, and they would be.
Additionally, while perceiving through your familiar senses, you can also speak through your familiar in your own voice.
So yeah,
So
it would
if,
need to be
if
on
tongues
you.
is cast on me, that means what I hear, I understand, and what I say,
yeah,
can be understood.
and you
So it
cast
would
it
be
on you.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So that actually might be better because then we could wait until he actually sees a giant. Because we don't
And then
know.
cast.
Yeah, we don't know like where they are in there. Okay,
And then
guys.
an invisible and or
We-
demonic voice.
Clearly,
No. I'm not on board with the I think
We're
he can.
assuming that they're friendly.
Well, we know that the one with a missing ear is sympathetic.
at the very least,
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
we don't have enough information.
And so what's plan B?
We
when
never
he
really
gets
do.
pushed?
we really there's some questions we can only
again.
answer when we get
tongue
there.
spell?
Right.
No,
So,
we wait to cast tongues.
We should
until-
go.
But we only have one casting of it.
Yeah.
But I really don't think that we should send Rez in.
Okay, then
what's wrong with that idea?
if you
And you can see Pearson was taking on another scroll and seems to be starting work on a second scroll of tongues.
Thank you.
Why do you think that's a...
This will take an additional 3 hours, just
I
so
just
you're
don't
aware.
think that.
I mean, you started doing it. Are you okay with that?
I mean,
Yes.
I'm going to
high
get saddle
stakes, and
swords.
He said he was a
You've
we'll
seen
just
Rez.
climb off a freaking dragonfly. We're still on the ground.
listen, there's a
I
bunch
love
of
you.
there's a bunch of stuff we just don't know, and we're not going to know it sitting here arguing.
Are we all in agreement that we want to try diplomacy before fighting the fire?
Yes, we want to fight the dragon, not the giants.
I don't want to fight either.
Yes, but if we fight the dragon, we'll at least have giants on our side.
Theoretically.
Okay, so people are saying
The giants fight the dragon.
if you don't want to fight Ori, how do you propose getting in there?
I think we should go with a stealthy approach. I agree with this. I just don't think that I want to put all of our beans in the proverbial res basket.
Listen,
As
if
it were.
Rez, strays from the mission, I can just dismiss him.
I'm also just not going to stay on a mission, Lena.
I know that's what that's what I'm saying.
I'm not Ori, you know.
But I'm just telling Ori, I can just dismiss him.
Right.
Like,
Given Rez's track record, I don't really have much faith.
What is this guy in your mind? You're hearing. What is this guy even talking about? I have never led us into traps like he has. I'm not running ahead, getting cut apart. I mean,
so what you see is Alina like looking at her shoulder and be like, yeah,
Or
it'll be fine.
I think it's a good idea and we should give it a shot.
At the very least, if Rez gets found out and gets attacked, he will not be immediately killed.
I mean, probably pretty immediately.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
but it's
But not killed in the same way that we would be killed.
Yeah, because we've talked
Only
about
Alina
it.
can-
Like,
only
that's
Alina
us
can
out,
do
right?
that.
Like, yeah. I mean,
So you're getting like, it's really like, this is Rez leaning on your shoulder, kind of like providing a commentary in the same way that like you two are watching a YouTube together.
I gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Listen, I get that you're opposed to this idea. I would love to hear any better idea that you have.
Well, I think to Minka's point, we don't know enough. So I'm not going to commit to sending Rez in until we know more, which we won't know until we get
what
on
magic, Ori?
Dragonflies.
How do we? I thought the plan was to send in Rez so we could know a little bit more.
well, we don't even know when
How
we
about
get
we
there.
make a plan when we get there and see the situation?
Yeah.
He's about a third of the way through the second tongue scroll, and Hearsome says, "Well, I thought actually, Valis, you can talk to turtles.
I can talk to animals.
Minka, are you able to turn a creature into another animal?"
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Say more.
Well, if a fire giant becomes a turtle, then Valis can talk to it.
When
That's true, or, I mean, another animal.
will that work, Minka?
I mean,
It's a terrible
in
plan.
theory,
It's an absolute.
assuming that
Will they?
They will
They
have the
do turn
brain of a
into-
turtle.
maybe not. Yeah,
Well, you
Billy's right. Maybe not a
do
turtle.
something else.
but
I
something
was
that's
a rat,
like
and
a-
I had the brain of a rat.
Well,
Well, are there any
I've heard
animals
that elephants are pretty smart.
What's
an elephant?
Listen, not that I would ever do any of this kind of thing to you, but if I were looking to suggest something to a creature with less of an intelligence, blunting that intelligence further would be a great way to do it.
But then when it turns back into a giant,
You'll need to be very charming.
is this like an Inception thing?
Well,
The worst idea.
mechanically, if a creature has a smaller like intelligence score or wisdom score, it is more susceptible to spells and abilities that will charm it. And so if you are trying to
so
make it
you
open to
charm it and
suggestion,
then- Okay.
you could do a chain of spells whereupon you are turning it first into a turtle, then Valis talks to it while somebody else casts a spell that will make it susceptible to being charmed. And in this way, this is
I'll
the way in
wrangle the
which
turtle.
archfays work. There are multiple steps to doing things.
Okay, well, that's a second idea.
Yeah, we have options. And the best thing to do with options is to get more information so we know which one is better. So we should go to the ship.
Right. And
How long
Hopefully
until that
not.
second scroll is ready?
About an hour left.
All right.
Might as well wait the hour.
I mean,
So you all wait an hour with Ori the whole time, or sorry, with Rez the entire time is going to be like, and then there was the time where it went ahead and there was the skeletons everywhere. And like, that was wild because those, I mean, we were already fighting people.
Yeah.
Remember that? Was that Rez? No, that was Ori.
Yeah.
But the hour passes and you can all add a second tongues scroll to your inventory.
During the hour, Billy's going to try pickpocketing again.
No. No.
Make a sense point.
Not for this one.
What is
Or sorry, make a
How can I
sleight of
not
hand check. Sorry.
prevent this?
You are actively always looking out for Cheshire, and so you always get a
for
check.
people who
Listen
are-
to me. Listen to me. I would love for you tomorrow to try very hard to pay attention to one thing, but only that one thing so that you can never lose attention to it, and tell me what other things you remember at the end of that day.
That's what, 28?
Wait, you're stealing
I
it
don't want
too?
the coins. I want the rest of your stuff.
Make,
I have nothing.
make an injection or make an injection.
Nothing.
Make a perception or investigation check your
Take
choice.
the crossbow, though. He needs that.
That was 15.
Oh my god, it's a 12. I have nothing. I have nothing.
So interestingly, as Cheshire, you
Want the blowgun needles? You didn't take those in the trade.
Billy, with your 15,
I got 4 daggers.
it's not very slick, and you are just on the cusp of like about to reach into the pocket, and then suddenly you recognize that Cheshire is already like way ahead of you. The only reason that
Me cute?
so you had a chance if you had rolled higher to actually catch Billy as Cheshire was picking your pocket, only because you were looking out for Cheshire and they both tried. You rolled low enough so that you
Could
missed
I
it.
make a perception check?
Yeah,
Alright.
What else you got?
I see Billy.
I've got
Cheshire near
nothing.
Ori.
Yeah.
That in itself is
absolutely.
Literally the things that I have
have
on
check?
my person.
Perception.
The things that I am physically wearing or holding. A few
19.
daggers.
19.
Yeah.
With the 19, you absolutely see Billy.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, what do I see Billy doing?
I lost 2.
You see Billy going through or about to go into Ori's pockets and then not.
And I want your
Okay.
belt.
I don't.
What do I? Okay.
No, you can't take my
I
belt.
want your belt.
And that's all I see?
No.
That's all I see?
That's all you see. I would say actually, because he's not trying to hide it from you, you can see Hearsome is watching this, very amused, and seems to be focusing more on Cheshire.
Okay. What's Cheshire doing with that perception check? If she's near Ori.
Standing close to Ori.
Okay.
During this time, Minka would like to craft a bracelet.
Okay. No problem.
For during the hour.
Make a
can-
perception check, Cheshire.
Do I see where Ori's got the coin stashed?
No,
In
I
my
put them on my
perusing.
butt.
What's your perception check?
Have you
Yeah, you absolutely do. If you want, you can look through and you can find all kinds of stuff. I mean, you can see what Ori has available.
I wouldn't put it past him at this point.
Because I've got shit.
I will slip them to Billy.
Interesting. That's gonna be
Wait,
great.
so I have 0 coins now?
Mhm.
What the fuck?
I'll leave them.
And then I just, what do I do?
You don't know, 'cause
Who
you're-
stole
you're
my
watching.
coins? I wonder who stole my coins. Who of the fucking group? Who knows about the coins? Who's already tried to
Are you
steal the
saying
coins?
them out loud?
Well, I haven't realized that I've lost the coins yet.
But
Because
it's
I don't
coming.
know. I'm just like
This is
sitting
the
around,
pre-rant to the rant.
like twiddling my thumbs while we're on the.
I'll speak to. So, am I next to Harrison? Are we kind of just like watching?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to say to hear some. So, I joined this group a little bit late. Cheshire. She's
Yes.
a bit of an enigma.
Seems to be, yes.
What brought you to hire her, and what are you? Why? I don't understand. What motivates Cheshire, and how did you come about getting her into the Wandering Heart?
That is a good question. In Everest, in the time that I have been alive, there have been many changes in power, many figures that have risen and fallen. And in that time, there have been a number of pacts and bonds that have been laid out. Because of this, there is not much that I can say about why I chose each of you, with the exception of really Alina.
Ah. What
I
brought
can't
her-
highly recommend it. he
Alina
said.
was recommended by a friend of mine.
Oh, Cheshire. We should look for strings.
Oh yeah.
Why do you ask, Valis?
I have a hard time placing how to get on her good side and what motivates her. So it's just.
In that case, I would just ask to be friends.
Okay.
Has anybody tried that? Has anybody asked nicely?
Yeah. No.
I mean,
Has anybody said, Cheshire, what is it that motivates you?
No.
she doesn't seem like the type that would answer that, but you're right. I haven't seen that question asked, so I'll keep that in mind.
We're about to crack this wide open.
Hey, Cheshire, what's up?
What's your name, my friend?
Like I was the Indiana Jones theme song at the beginning. Exposition. Not a sponsor.
Can I just quickly, during the hour, can Alina work on teaching Rez the finer points of, like, stealthing around and things like explicit, like, okay, and if you're invisible and just doing recon, like, you don't make any noise, like, stuff like that. Like, and you don't talk.
Yeah, I know.
No, I know, but we're just, like, getting on the same page, like, that stuff. Okay. That's all. And even if Rez is speaking telepathically to her, Alina is saying this stuff out loud.
Okay.
And every once in a while, she glances at Ori like, huh?
Okay, no problem.
That's all. Thank you.
I'll spend the rest of the time bonding with my dragonfly.
There you go. You bond with your dragonfly.
Hell yeah.
If you're going to spend that time bonding with your dragonfly, towards the end of that time, you would have learned that your dragonfly's name is Urzali.
Ooh.
Nice name.
Each of you completes your various tasks throughout this time. No problem. Ori, interestingly, nothing really seems to change for you. The hour ends. You have your 2 tongues spells, and all of you have dragonflies. Yes.
You ready to go? Spell.
I put the new bracelet on.
There you go. New bracelet.
Slowly replace the ones that got melted.
Here you go.
All right, you got the compass.
I don't know. Someone might have stolen it in the last 2 hours?
This seems like a good
Ori, are
opportunity.
you looking for your compass?
Go look in your
Yeah.
pockets
It's there.
for it.
All right. There it is.
Ori, you have a pouch on your belt that you were not aware of before. It's forest green. It's relatively small, almost like it's about this big, and it almost looks like a utility pouch, like pouch kind of thing on there.
What did you do?
I did nothing, and I am insulted that you would look over here.
What's wrong, Ori?
This isn't mine.
It's on your belt.
What's in it?
Now, wandering
When
hearts,
have I ever given you things?
are you all ready to go?
I guess, but what?
I'm gonna like.
Insulted.
What is
I'm
this?
leaving.
Now, Ori,
Oh,
as a
don't you?
non-magic user, I just have a few things I would like to talk to you about before you all leave. He pulls you aside. And pulls you like a good 50 feet away from the rest of the group. Is anybody trying to overhear?
No.
Yes.
How are you trying to overhear?
I kind of feel like if I were to send Rez, Harrison would see right through that, so I'm just gonna stay where I am, but I'm gonna
As
really hard.
stealthily as possible, getting within earshot, I suppose.
You're on a beach. You can make a stealth check. I mean, I don't know that you could hit the DC for
Palm tree.
I am the sand.
here in the dunes, really this close to the actual shore. I mean, there isn't even really
How pink is the
palm
sand?
trees. It's not pink. It's like white sand, white fiber.
Yeah, but that patch right there.
22. I mean, you can get
pink
close
sand
enough to
dude in the
kind of
light, it's
see them talking. Even really making out words at this distance would be tough. I would say you can get closer, but you're confident that they will notice you. It's open sand.
Where I can read this.
Kick some sand and go sit on my dragonfly.
There you go. Ori,
Mature person.
he turns over to you and he says, Ori, there seems to be some trouble. with you and your belongings? You seem to continuously misplace them.
Us more that they continuously get stolen by Cheshire specifically. Sometimes Billy, but mostly Cheshire.
How did you know that?
When has Billy stolen anything?
This is going.
You stole the 2 coins.
I did not steal them.
But you ended up with them, so Ori
I
thinks that
didn't
you stole
steal them. Cheshire stole them, and you were there.
That's semantics.
Anyway.
Well, yeah, so
Make
it's
another bracelet
usually
in the
not
meantime.
misplaced, it's just replaced into Cheshire's pockets.
Yes. So, for this very reason, while it cannot hold everything, if there are things that are dear to you, put them in that pouch.
Oh, okay. Thank you. This is very helpful. Now that I'm looking, it would appear that the aforementioned soul coins that may or may not have been removed.
Those might still be on Cheshire's person. I will not touch those, but
Right. They were on my person, they no longer are. So just putting that into the ether.
well, they'll find their way back to you, I'm sure.
Oh no.
Oh, thank you for the pouch.
Turns and just like straightens up and like kind of gives you a little push back towards the group.
Actually, you know what? Not a bracelet for me. I'm gonna make a little crown for the dragonfly.
Okay, no problem. You started as a bracelet and you're like, wait a second. You flip it over and then just kind of like add some more parts and just right on the dragonfly, no problem.
It's gonna be a lot.
The dragonfly, the little wings, seems pleased. No problem.
Here's a safe.
So nice.
Here's says, now, are all of you ready to go?
Yes.
Yeah, Billy's been on a dragonfly for 3 hours.
It seems as if you had all expected me to find some other kind of magical item, and so is there a request this time?
Billy holds up the 2 tongue scrolls and be like, I think I got mine.
Assuming that we will be heading towards the dome of Alendor at some point after this, perhaps something that would be useful in fighting any potential releases of dark energy, radiant magic, perhaps.
I can look and see what I can find.
So,
Radiant magic.
yes.
Have you found any cool rocks? Mega takes out like all the cool rocks she's collected so far. This one looks like a llama, and this one, if you look at it, it's kind of like a little stone head. And I had one that actually was a grub.
Did you carve those?
No, I found them.
But you could just carve them to look like that.
I know, but it's more fun to find them.
I'll look for some cool stuff.
Thank you.
Maybe something that can help me cast more spells in between, you know, taking a nap.
Yes, I've heard of actually something that I'm trying to get a track on. It was last seen in Dominion, but more on that later. The trader who had it seems to have sold it in the past couple of years. Have you heard of a pearl of power?
Yeah.
That is what I'm looking for.
Oh, this I had a dream that someone named Gunnar recommended it.
Gunnar probably remembers that exact merchant if they watch Campaign 1 in session 54.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That sounds fantastic.
Anything else?
I think that'll do it.
Very well. Best of luck to all of you. And he goes and kind of sits down on the couch, and you watch as he opens up that bag that her Royal Flyness gave to him, and he pulls out a very, very nice flask and pops it open and just takes a little drink.
Nice.
Out of curiosity, what's in that bag that you got from her Royal Flyness?
Alcohol.
Oh.
Enjoy.
May I have a sip?
No. This was hard won.
Ah.
Thank you for helping me, by the way. He takes another little sip. So all of you begin to make your way off. One by one, you push with your legs, and as you do, it's like the dragonfly can feel the muscles in your legs tighten, and it just takes off. And you've all done this a little bit now, and so none of you are bucked off the back. When the wings begin to like pick up, it can almost knock you off if you're not ready. But you've all really taken some time to learn how to operate these creatures and have no problem flying them up and into the air and begin to pass by the ocean beneath you. Give me 1 second here. Ori, make a survival check at advantage as you use your compass to navigate. That's like Rhode Island now.
I'm just waiting for Dallas to ask Joshua if he can be your
survival?
Yeah.
It's 18 plus 25. No,
20.
sorry, 24.
Okay. With a 24? With a 24, you make your way across the ocean, having the water just rush underneath you. Here and there, you can see a little jumping fish. And Ori, there is a point where holding the compass, as you look, the needle starts to vibrate a little bit. And you can feel that the air is changing a little bit, and there's some kind of a storm coming, and you are realizing you probably want to go around whatever this is, because you see no clouds. This is some kind of fuckery.
I want to avoid this fuckery.
So do you want to go around?
Yes, I would like to avoid this fuckery by going around.
With a 25. 24, 25.
24.
Ooh.
Oh, fuck.
Fuckery!
With a 24, you skirt along the edge and you try to use the compass to find a way around, but after a brief kind of struggle, you recognize that you can't quite find the seam of this. And as the wind picks up, and for all of you,
Watch
you can
out.
feel the
Fucker
hair
is afoot.
rising in the back of your neck. Because it is 10:06, this is where we're going to stop for the evening. But thank you for joining us for this session of Adventures in Alberon. We will not be back next week, but on Friday on YouTube at Alberon RPG, you can see an original Paranoia game run by our very own Kara. Some of us will be here, many of us will be in red jumpsuits. But until then, please stay safe. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.